And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, from the XL Energy Center. We're about 17 minutes, 35 seconds away from what was scheduled to be the 6 o'clock start. Never is here from the State High School League Hockey Tournament. And I don't know why that is. I think I do, so they can do all their pregame prep and get their spots in and make the sponsors happy. So we're going to start a little bit early here along with Bart Archer. I'm Pete Wagner, and it's going to be the Blaine Bengals taking on the Eden Prairie Eagles, the number 2 and 3 seeds here in this tournament tonight. And, when it comes down to these two teams, Bart, they had a 7-6 thriller that played out that our very own Matt Harrington was on the call for a little bit earlier this year. And I might bring on Matt in a couple of seconds here to talk about his experiences with that game. But both teams got here a little bit differently. They didn't have runaway games, but Eden Prairie, man, they had to work for that hockey game yesterday, didn't they?
Well, indeed they did, Pete. 66 shots on goal. That's an awful big number, but it was Jack Jensen that actually ended that at the 7:03 mark of that third overtime. Boy, there was kind of an Ollie moment, because if they didn't score, we were in the final minute of that last overtime session. They would have started at 8 o'clock in the morning. And as luck would have it, they probably would have scored 23 seconds into that overtime at 8:03 or something like that. But unique situation. But you're right, Eden Prairie had to work awful hard to get that win.
Well, they started the scoring of the game yesterday on a bomb for the point by Clayton Schultz. Jack Jensen and John Middlestat in on that assist right there as they score at 1:49, and then it's Drew Holt later on in the first, late at 14:41 from Carter Batchelder as they had a nice little 2-on-1 they deliver there. Batchelder gets Holt on his forehand. He delivers the 2-goal lead. It's feeling really comfortable for the Eagles as they go into the second period. And then late in the second period, with about 2 minutes, 10 seconds left, it's the big defenseman headed off to Colorado College, Griffin Lutke, who buries from Nico Aguilera and Zach Ulrich. And then into the third, early on, it's Jack Novak who scores a nice goal from Aguilera, who picks up his second point of the tournament. But the story of the game was Eden Prairie ripped 65 shots on goal, and they scored just 3 times. It took them 3 overtimes to do it. The 62 saves made, if you can believe this, by Henry Welsh were just 2 shy of the record set by Carl Gehring. If we all remember, I think that was a 5 overtime game. He did the amount of work that Gehring needed 5 overtimes against the Hounds. So, I mean, we're in the midst of a historic goaltending performance there that I think kind of went a little bit overlooked, Bart.
Well, we did our best to at least make everybody aware, but his play just spoke for itself. But Eden Prairie in that second overtime outshot Lakeville 13-3, and Henry Welsh was one of the main reasons why that even went to a third overtime, but he made a number of acrobatic saves. I think once it got to be 2-0, Eden Prairie started feeling pretty good about themselves, and then Lakeville North scored or Lakeville South scored and started to feel pretty good. But then once they got that early goal in the third period, it changed the dynamic of the ball game, and it was really a seesaw battle. But again, it was Jack Jensen that ended it, but Henry Welsh certainly deserved the star of the game.
No question about it, and I think your big guys have to play big, and Welsh was a big guy for his team, and of course Jensen for his team as well. And the two of those guys made differences in the game, but I think the key factor was now Eden Prairie playing 2 centers. I don't know, man. That looks a little fatiguing to me. I think when you get into that third overtime, it was tough, and when you lean on players in the postseason, that's when you can make mistakes. But they're also the guys that can finish when you need them.
Well, indeed, but Lee Smith does have a host of talented players that he could have gone to, but he opted to kind of keep rolling with that, and the TV timeout certainly didn't hurt. But you're right, Pete, it just seemed like they kind of lost a little energy as the game wore on. I mean, just normally they're a very hard-working 2-direction team, and it just seemed like some of the back checks there was about 85% energy, but 100% effort, but they just couldn't kind of get their legs under it. But they found the energy and the opportunity and made it count when they needed to. But yeah, the 2 centers I think works really well, but there are some things that you have to be cognizant of, and Lee Smith's been at this a long time, so I'm sure that he kept it well monitored. But Eden Prairie gets the right through that triple overtime game to face a very good Blaine Bengals team tonight.
Who jumped out, by the way, the Bengals to a 4-0 lead against the White Bear Lake Bears. A goal in the first by Mr. Hockey finalist Bryce Brodzinski. We'll see a couple of them on the ice here tonight. We'll see 4 to be exact. Brodzinski and Jensen here in this game, and then Jungles and Nevers representing the Edina Hornets in their game against the St. Thomas Academy Cadets. But it's Carson Rickles was just terrific. Bart Archer he had a 3-point night. He had 2 goals and assist and 2 goals on the effort. Cole Hansen had a couple of goals for the Blaine Bengals, and they built the 4-0 lead, but White Bear Lake didn't go away. At 3:18 of the second period, they struck and made it 4-1, then struck again at 15-19. So that sent the thing in doubt into the third period when Sam Newpower scored. But in the end, Blaine just too deep, too good for White Bear Lake. And I think even though they played to a 7-6 game and a goal scored with Matt Harrington was at 2.6 seconds left. 2.6 seconds left in regulation by Jack Jensen. Gives them the 7-6 win at the Eden Prairie Community Center.
Yeah, and it was interesting as far as that. Eden Prairie led 3-2 after the first period. Blaine scored 3 goals to take a 4-3 lead, and then Eden Prairie had to battle back, score 4 third period goals against the one for Blaine, but 7-6 was the final on that one. But Pager, Rudrud, Holt, John Middlestad, but Jack Jensen was the story of that game. 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points, and Luke Middlestead had 4 helpers from the back line as well, but Brodzinski scored a couple in that. Hansen had a couple assists as well. But I think Hansen was the one that impressed me yesterday. I mean, you see the numbers, Reichels and Brodzinski jump off the page, but Cole Hansen really showed his value to his team yesterday as he played an outstanding game as well.
Tonight's game is presented by Sportsman's Guide in South St. Paul, up to 60% off at all merchandise at the Beyond the Pond event Saturday, the 10th of March. That's tomorrow at 10 a.m. to noon, just in time before the snow falls. So get out there, take advantage of a great event. It's going to be awesome. Also presented by Brew Pub Pizza and Lots of Matza Pizza. Half-pound of award-winning Wisconsin mozzarella cheese loaded on those things with that great thin crust. RJM Construction for all of your arena needs in construction, building, and remodeling. Check out their work at the Tree Rink and the Hopkins Pavilion. And don't forget about the Rock in St. Louis Park. Also presented by Tradition Company, 7 companies in one solution. For all your home building, buying, wealth management, and mortgage needs, it's traditionco.com. I'll be sure to check each and everybody out. Thank you for being a part of this. Now, Matt, you saw that game. You were on the call. I'm going to hand over the headsets to you right now. Oh, Bart's going to hand his. Look at that. He's going to bail. Look at the teammate here. That's all you do, and you do it well. From that game, I mean, it sounded like it was a wild one. There were goals everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. 7-6 was the final score there. And you mentioned it, goals all over the ice. I think we had a goal maybe not even a minute or 2 into that game, and that was kind of the tempo all game long, really high scoring action and speed up and down the ice. So it was a thriller.
Was it squirrely? I mean, you know how sometimes games can get like just completely undisciplined with nobody playing any defensive brand? I mean, do you think that's going to dial in here a little bit more tonight, or are we going to see 13 goals again?
Well, I mean, that's going to be a tough question to answer. I think the biggest thing, though, is going to be the speed for these teams. And the thing I noticed the most about that game between Eden Prairie and Blaine earlier in the season was some of the speed from their top guys. Of course, Eden Prairie, Jack Jensen, and for Blaine, Bryce Brodzinski.
Bart just showed me a stat on his prep sheet here that there's a total of 88 shots combined, Bart? 88 shots between
amazing.
These two teams, 47 and 41. Holy smokes.
Yeah, the goaltenders are going to be busy tonight.
Wow. I think it's different, though. Playoff hockey always brings up a little bit of a different flavor. And, I mean, it's hard in a building like this for us doing what we do to expect anything we're going to see next to do what just occurred at 1 o'clock this afternoon when that game started between Greenway and Matamidi. I mean, whoa, that was something special there.
It sure was.
Wasn't it? I mean, the classic Cinderella story. You got dads knocking on doors, getting kids to play hockey so they wouldn't have to merge or shut the program down. If they were going to merge, they were going to merge with Grand Rapids. It used to be that if you were from Grand Rapids, you could not date someone from Greenway.
Really?
It was that big. That's what Jerry Burrow told me. It's like, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, now the girls are playing Grand Rapids, Greenway, Nishwauk.
Good program there, too.
And, but they were able to fight it off, came up with some good band stuff. I think of the Gino Geyer years back in the early 2000s when their team beat Eden Prairie, who's playing here today. All right, did they beat Eden Prairie? I think they did. Yeah, we did a special deal on My Fox Hockey back in the day about that whole tournament. We had members of both teams, and we did a little expose. It was really good. But anyway, point of the matter is that there's some great stories that go out here. Everybody's written off the Eden Prairie Eagles. Based off of what you see, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a team that has depth all over the ice, and a lot of people criticize them for the 9 losses on their record, but, I mean, it's a good team. A lot of speed out on the ice, Jensen being, of course, one of the most notable players for them. But if this first game was any indication of what we're going to see here tonight, we're going to have a great contest on our hands.
Okay, we hand it over to Bart. I'm going to ask him the same question. Bart, is it a – thanks, Matt. Great contribution here. In the pregame show.
I told you we waited long enough.
The RJM Construction pregame show continues right here at the MNHockey.tv. Thanks for joining us tonight and all year long as we've covered a ton of high school hockey for you. When we have these 14 games now, the MNHockey.tv will be responsible for 166 live events. Streamed, whether it be audio or video, produced. I mean, it just, hopefully we can do more next year.
That's an impressive number.
Is it a good idea to write off this Eden Prairie team?
No. In fact, as we talked about a little bit yesterday, and for those who weren't with us yesterday, I said that Eden Prairie seems to finally be realizing the potential that we all saw in this team. Yesterday was a little bit different flavor. We didn't really see the Eden Prairie that we'd seen previously in the previous couple of weeks, but no, as Matt said, they have speed, they have depth, they have solid defense, and their goaltending has been pretty solid overall. In fact, if we kind of harken back to the game where Blaine played Eden Prairie, it was Bullis that got pulled after the third period, or after the second period. He had a tough period, and it was Roseland that came in and only allowed 1 goal and allowed Eden Prairie to score 4 goals in that period to come back and win by a goal. So Lee Smith has a little diversity on his roster. He's got some versatility, and he's smart enough to know how and when to use them. But to count Eden Prairie out of this game would be a huge mistake. Now, Blaine has the propensity to score a lot of goals in a hurry, so it's not a given that Eden Prairie is going to come out and compete. But from the body of work that we've seen leading up to this night, I think it's going to be a tightly contested game. I think it is going to be a little high scoring, but I'm thinking more like the 5-4, 5-3 kind of a situation. We're not going to see another 7-6. I don't suspect, but it's not going to be too tilted in one team's favor tonight.
Well, and I feel as though it's also down to one of those things, Bart, where you get that playoff hockey and everybody starts kind of taking care of their defensive responsibilities, and it becomes a little bit trickier.
Yeah, you can see the numbers just as far as the goaltending, as far as the shots on goal, as far as the shots against, and they're playing a little bit more of an honest brand. Not so many runs to the penalty box during this tournament under this format, but everybody's going to be called upon that's on the ice, but you just don't want to make a mistake. But I think if there's one advantage that Blaine might have and it's not at the expense of the Eden Prairie Eagle goaltending, but it's just more of a giving kudos to Joe Janiger. He's been a terrific goalie. 23 wins, 2 losses, 2 ties, .150 goals against, and a .933 save percentage with 7 shutouts. He's one of the main reasons why they're here, and I think he's going to be certainly a significant component for Blaine tonight.
Hello to John Sands, who's on watching with us here tonight. He's actually working from home because we're only given so many media credentials. He's a gamer, but I also figured, you know what, he's been working late at night, and he's been doing a great job with us. So, John, I hope you're with us here during the RJM Construction pregame show. As the teams have taken to the ice, we're going to be sending it downstairs to Jim Carroll here momentarily to get you situated for your starting lineups only. They don't go through the full gamut there, so we'll definitely be able to get this thing going a couple minutes quicker than usual.
Good.
Maybe.
Yeah, in theory anyway. But the Eagles are already lined up on the goal line, and Blaine's starting to get a little organized, so we're just moments away. The clock reads under 4 minutes, so we're dangerously close to getting the 6 started.
Blaine will be wearing their white sweaters with blue and powder blue trim. Meanwhile, Eden Prairie don their red, white, and black sweaters. In consolation quarterfinal round action, Lakeville South winners over White Bear Lake by a score of 5-3 rather. And then it was Duluth East stopping Moorhead 3-2. We will now head downstairs to Jim Carroll.
Welcome to the 75th annual Minnesota State High School League Boys Hockey Tournament. Our first AA semifinal features the champions of Section 2 with a record of 18-9-2, the Eden Prairie Eagles. Against the champions of Section 5 with a record of 23-2-2, the Blaine Bengals. Now let's meet the starting lineups. Starting in goal for Eden Prairie, junior number 30, Axel Rosenlund. On defense, senior number 4, Keegan Langfels. His defensive partner is sophomore number 27, Luke Middlestad. On the forward line, left wing, junior number 9, John Middlestad. The right wing is senior number 17, Sam Wilhite. And the center is senior number 18, Jack Jensen. And the rest of the Eden Prairie Eagles. Their assistant coaches are Paul Ranheim and Tom Gertis. Head coach is Lee Smith, the Eden Prairie Eagles. Now let's meet the starting lineup for Blaine. Starting in goal, senior number 1, Joe Daninger. On defense, junior number 6, Mason Streeter. His defensive partner is senior number 21, Nick Hauk. The left wing is junior number 17, Carson Rickles. The right wing is junior number 18, Cole Hansen. And the center is senior number 22, Bryce Brodzinski. And the rest of the Blaine Bengals. The assistant coaches are Jonathan Kell and Nick Bulenkamp. Head coach is Chris Carroll, the Blaine Bengals. Here are tonight's game officials on the lines, Dan Hewitt, Sam Warzeka. Your referees are Joe Oberg and Eric Whistler. Fans, at this time we ask you to please rise, please remove your caps, and join the Blaine Band in the playing of our national anthem.
Well, based on the crowd's assessment, it's either the home of the Eagles or the Bengals. I'm not sure which one. The Eagles will be moving from left to right across your screen. Meanwhile, it'll be the Bengals from right to left. Lee Smith, Chris Carroll going to lock horns for the second time this year. And, you know, what more can you say? This is what it's all about right here. Semifinal Friday. This is probably the most special day, I think, in high school hockey, although we've seen some pretty memorable state championship finals too, Bart.
Well, indeed we have. I always thought the first Thursday for AA, you know, some of them, there's anxieties, there's variables that work into it, distractions, all that. But once we get through that Thursday night, Friday night, everything kind of gets back to a sense of normalcy. They get familiar with their environment, and they play just a little bit better hockey. They can get to the game a little quicker.
Our very own Patrick Lilia crushed the semifinal
Indeed,
round
he did.
matchups earlier today in the Class A.
Well done.
And that was St. Cloud Cathedral with a 6-2 win over East Grand Forks. And then it was Greenway Nashwauk. What do we got here? I can't read that word. Keewatin. 3-2 over. I can't see. I'm blind. In overtime, as it'll be Cathedral and Greenway. We keep it real here at the MNHockey.tv, right, Bar?
Yeah, well, I hope so. We try.
So Daniger will be in one net for the Bengals and Axel Rosenlund in the other for the Eden Prairie Eagles. Brodzinski on the ice against another Mr. Hockey finalist in none other than Jack Jensen.
They're head-to-head.
Jensen the draw, plays back to Langfels. Right side to Luke Middlestadt, finds Will Height to the right wing, angled across the center dot. That was John Middlestadt there, turned over at the line. The Eagles on the puck, sent through the slot area, stuck out of there by Daniger. Now ducked under on the check is Hansen as they play this one up to the right wing wall. Will Height gets it to Langfels, shot it on goal, and that's held on to by Daniger right off the midsection, goes down and squares up. The Bengals will get the next unit out. They're going to keep the legs fresh, as are the Eagles. Like to get everybody touching that ice right away as quick as you can, Bart.
Well, really, you want to get everybody involved, just get everybody to break a sweat, but pretty good pressure from Eden Prairie right out of the gate. It was a nice shot from the point, but Daniger came out outside the blue and received that one. Not a second chance, but Jack Jensen looks very focused tonight.
Hard ring around the wall as there's Middlestadt. That's Luke Middlestadt, the blue liner, to play the body, but fished out of there by Jack Ryman as he's going to carry this one up across the center red. Pushed in wide of the mark. Luke Middlestadt now with it as he's going to be checked and looks up the middle. Missed the mark there on Spencer Redroot, and it'll be the Bengals poked off their stick into the left corner behind their own goal. They'll look to play this one up to the wall. Reaching over to make the play is Will Hillman. Caught my eye big time yesterday. Skilled player. They pin up along the boards. Left wing side out of the zone. They come. Ryman right up the middle. Plays that through center. Stood up on the play. On the way through was Cole Hansen. 2 goals yesterday for him. And icing the call. 15:58 to go. We're scoreless.
Well, they were 2 big goals and really kind of kept his team the energy level up. But Eden Prairie, 3 guys on that puck along the half wall on the right side. So they're very aggressive getting after the puck. The spacing was pretty good, but Eden Prairie showing a lot of energy right now. See if they can sustain that.
Hard ring there by Brodzinski. We brought that up yesterday. The defenseman is Caden Brodzinski. That's Brazzinsky, and it's Brodzinski. We all know Bryce, of course, and his brothers. Long line of high-end hockey players that his parents must be very proud of. Of course, father Mike was part of the St. Cloud State Huskies back in the 80s, back in the era when Herb Brooks revitalized the program, or gave it extra breath, actually, and they built the big facility. They brought the Olympic sheet there, and they've since turned that into a regular size sheet. But you get
they fixed it.
Absolutely. Boy, that was a fad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now it's Argetsinger taking over. Plays this up the middle, right on the tape for John Middlestadt rather. Now Will Height with it. John Middlestadt behind the net, hangs on to it up to the line, left side. Keegan Langfels. That's Argetsinger with the shot and the save. That was Schultz rather that fed Argetsinger. They got the third set of D out with this second line right now. It's interesting to see how coaches, do they get all 3 lines rolling now, or do they go 2-2-2 until the first break and then start bringing in the third?
Well, I always thought get everybody involved, whether it be the third line or you can roll 2. I mean, that's a way to do it. But I always thought get them in early, at least give them a shift early, let them get a feel for it, so that way you don't put them out cold halfway through the period. Couple schools of thought, I'm sure.
Face-off win, handled and played back in. Behind the line it goes. The Eagles will try to play through center. That's cut off. And now it's going to be handled once again by Eden Prairie. They'll look and play this off the boards. Angle pass across the line. Batchelder, wrist shot that misses the mark. Holt will send a shot that's deflected up and out of play. Eagles so far with the jump and the scoring chances so far here in this hockey game.
Well, they're moving the puck quite well. They're skating open areas and putting the puck on the tape and coming into the zone with a little bit of energy. Nice challenge, though, at the blue line by the Blaine Bengals. So Eden Prairie's just pushing the puck deep. They're not coming in too deep with possession, but face-off now to Daniger's left. 14:33 left in this first period. We're scoreless. Eden Prairie leads in the shot board 3-0.
Rudrud takes the draw in against the Blaine Bengals. That was Ryman back behind the net. Blaine controls, outlets to Hillman. Finds it ahead to Ryman, reaches back. He has a man on the line with him in Busick. Nice check off the boards there. Up and out of play it goes. The early indication here is that these two teams can both skate. And you can tell right now this is going to be quite interesting.
Well, indeed, and Eden Prairie's really kind of dictated early in this first period, at least the flow of the play right now. And if Eden Prairie defense can bring their physical game, that bodes very, very well for them. But now face-off is going to be to Rosenlund's left. But Pete, this is kind of a format or a game that all the little things are going to be very important. Obviously, puck responsibility, we've talked about that so far, but just winning faceoffs and getting possession in this game is very important.
Garrett Smith, there's Jones on the tape. This is their first shift of the night with Jack Jensen. Jones will try to play that to the corner. It's cut off by Hillman. Across neutral he goes. He's stopped by Carson Jones. He's a scrapper. Now it's the Blaine Bengals regrouping at their own line. They play it to the left side for Hauk. He looks up across the checker, gets away from one-man Rister. That's going to miss the mark on Rosenlund. It'll be Argetsinger to take the carom out of his own zone, deflected up in the air, off the boards. In their own zone now, it's Blaine Hauk. Watched by Carson Jones. Hauk protects the puck, puts on the brakes. Talented defenseman, plays it to the left wing for Scheib, who's going to bump it off the boards as they're going to guide this one back in behind the net. Keegan Langfell's a hard ring, too far for John Middlestat. They find a man down low. Look out, they're dangerous. The Bengals with a look. A shot that's blocked by the defense. Here comes Will Height back out of the zone for the Eagles on his off wing. Looks to make a move on Caldine. Instead, it's stopped in the neutral zone, or in the slot area rather, played to the neutral zone. Cam Langfells gets a stick on that. It's going to be turned away by Streeter. Plays it from his left side now, as he's going to walk over to the right circle and play it off the boards to center across the line. It's going to be Brodzinski with it. Oh, there's a penalty coming up on Cam Langfells. They had a man streaking to the slot. Langfells is going to go for interference with 12:53 to go here in the first period.
Well, it was a really good play by Blaine. They gained the zone. Brodzinski tried to chip a pass to Algren. Algren used Cam Langfells, kind of grabbed a stick and went down right in front of the referee. So an early power play for this Blaine Bengal squad. They're having around the 39%. Haven't punched one in one attempt so far this state tournament, but they have a lot of talent on that team, and 100% penalty kill for the Eagles during the state tournament with 74.7. Obviously room for improvement. They're going to get a chance to improve on that with this opportunity, but this is a very big moment for both teams. The first goal in semifinal Friday is always a big goal because emotions lift on one side and emotions dive a little bit on the other, but both teams are not unfamiliar with this format, so I don't think it's going to have too much value moving forward, but you want to get that first one, get that one out of the way. But what a great opportunity it is for Blaine on the power play.
Tonight's coverage is presented in part by Sportsman's Guide in South St. Paul. Be sure to check them out. Up to 60% off all merchandise at the Beyond the Pond event Saturday, the 10th of March. It's tomorrow from 10 a.m. to noon. Also by Brewpub Lots of Matza Pizza. A half pound of award-winning Wisconsin mozzarella cheese. You can't go wrong. Fire one, stuff one in that oven, get after it. RJM Construction's available for all of your arena needs, from building to remodeling. Check out their work at the Trier Rink, the Hopkins Pavilion, and also the Rock in St. Louis Park, and also Tradition Companies. That's traditionco.com. 7 companies in one. They've got your solution from home building, home buying, wealth management needs, and, of course, your Capital Bank. We're back underway now, the power play for the Bengals, but tough to get going when the other team wins the draw.
Well,
it's set at the length of the ice.
It's Jensen and Batchelder, the front line for this Eden Prairie Eagle squad. They have a lot of speed, plus they can put the puck in the net, so Blaine's going to have to mind their defensive zone responsibilities.
Rickles with it to the corner as he's watched by Argetsinger. Rickles now plays up to Brodzinski, top of the left circle. They go up high now to Hauk. He'll play it off to the top of the right circle now. They've got an inverted umbrella. There's a shot that's off the side of the net by Brodzinski. That thing had some juice. Now it's going to be handled in the corner by Cole Hansen. Scores from behind the net. Look out! It's 1-0 Blaine. The power play goal with 12:13 to go in their first period. The first shot on goal comes back in off the back of the goaltender and to the back of the net. And it's 1-0 Blaine.
Well, and that's on the power play, but as you said, Cole Hansen shot that went from behind the end line, and I think it just ramped up off of Rosenlund. I think it was more of a clearing, centering pass, and I think he was actually trying to get it to Rickles, but again, it just went off an Eden Prairie defenseman. It looks like it's Schultz that it went off him. It went off Rosenlund first, then off Schultz, and then up and over the shoulder of the Eden Prairie goaltender. So great fortune for this Blaine Bengal squad up to Eden Prairie to respond. It's 1-0. 12:13 left in the first period.
It hit the goalie's stick, then it hit, the goaltender had his stick right in the right spot. You have it off the post from your foot, so you can, cut down that centering feed, and it hits his stick and it lifts up, and it's part of the game.
It is. Time to regroup and get back after it if you're an Eden Prairie Eagles player.
Will Height plays off the end boards, run around by Caldine. Jensen was there, bumps it off the boards. It's John Middlestad with it to the corner. Middlestad again. That's cut off, and they'll spin that one back around. Middlestad again. And to center ice it goes. Speed on this puck for Streeter. He and Luke Middlestad, though, the talented sophomore defenseman, gets there first, but he clears it up and out of play.
Well, Luke Middlestad, for a sophomore, he plays like a grizzled veteran, but he's got deceptive speed. He actually won that foot race to the puck, and we've seen him do that throughout the course of the year. Not to be undervalued, but he's a very valuable member of this team. He does a lot of things for Coach Lee Smith, and he's going to get plenty of opportunities tonight.
Now it's Rudrud to draw in his own zone to the left of his goaltender. Axel Rosenlund against Ryman, and it's the Eagles that get the draw. Rudrud chases it back behind his own net, plays to the left wing. Batchelder wanted to put a backhander off the wall, went nowhere. It was sent right back in by the Bengals as the Eagles will regroup back out of their own zone. Ooh, look out. Middlestad pickpocketed from behind there by Ryman. Nice play, and it's going to be Keegan Langfells. Back up front it goes to the top of the right circle. Out of the zone. Luke Middlestad finds John Middlestad. They try to play that one through. That's Batchelder, rather. Now it's turned back up ice for Hansen. He'll gain the line. Worked his way around Pager. Ooh, he could have a trip there. They let that go. A gift for Lee Smith's Eden Prairie Eagles. Off the boards, looking to play through center. Body check by Schaffer. Now it's going to be picked up by Batchelder across the line. Holt loads it up. Lets a shot go from long range as that's handled by Daniger. With 10:50 to go in the first period, 1-0 Blaine. Shots on goal, 4-1 in favor of Eden Prairie.
Well, I think Schaffer kind of got Spencer Rudrud. It's hard to knock that gentleman off his skates, but it was Batchelder that came out, put the pass out to Holt just inside the blue, put a good shot, tried to go blocker side, but Daniger did a nice job of making that save. 10:50 left in the first period.
Back across the line, big check by Schultz. He stood up again. And here they come out of the zone. It's the Eagles. Right wing pass across the line, carrying it deep to the corner is Jones. Jones looks out front, played away by Brodzinski. Jensen on him. Now it's going to be Jones with it again, cycles to the corner to Garrett Smith. Smith now is going to be greeted on the play there by Houck. Up to the line they go. Pager shot. Oh, there's Jensen back door. They had Jones. Couldn't tap it home. His stick was checked right at the last minute. Played down to the glove by Jack Jensen. He's flying here. Shot in on goal. Nice shift by that line for Eden Prairie as they had some good momentum and good energy on that play.
Yeah, in fact, not only did Carson Jones do some nice board work, but Garrett Smith did some nice board work as well. Smith actually in the left offensive corner drew two Blaine defenders in and gets it back to the point. And then they went to Jensen on the side of the net. I thought he should have taken that shot, but he tried to go back to Batchelder for a redirect, but he was tied up. So Eden Prairie, pretty nice answer after that goal, getting in tight, but you got to take those shots when you get them.
Face off to the right in the Blaine zone. Back up ice. Schoberg with it. Off the boards. Gets away from Rosenlund. Couldn't quite cut that one off. Cam Langfells. Lilliard now finds Stansberry, who looks ahead. Back into center. Kresbach with it. Across the line. His shots turned aside. Nifty job there by Daniger to get it where he wanted to, right into the left corner. Turned back in by Stansberry, and that one's covered up by Daniger. We'll see what happens now, what the changes are. Indeed, the D-men come out, and they're going to do a few more for the Blaine Bengals.
Well, it's a good opportunity. Daniger elected to hold that puck and give Coach Chris Carroll a chance to reset, but it's nice to see the Kresbach line out with Sansbury as well. It just shows that Lee Smith has faith in their abilities, plus it also spells the 1 and 2 lines as well. So they have some wealth of depth on this Eden Prairie squad. It's nice to see that Coach Lee Smith is utilizing his resources. Shots on goal now, Eden Prairie 7. Blaine with 1, but that one very important, and that's the difference in the game so far. 9:36 left in this first period. Been a pretty good pace so far. Both teams show some energy, but both teams understand that this is semifinal, so they're playing a little bit tight to the vest. Things should indeed open up a little bit as this game goes on, but it's been a nice exhibition in the first 8 minutes so far.
No, don't try. Matt Harrington with an on-air production meeting with me. You want to put those up on that one right there? Well, you know better than me. I would know. All right, Bart Archer. Your thoughts here?
Well, I don't know what more I can add, but I think, Lee Smith rolling out the threes. Well, I just went on a 5-minute dissertation about the same thing, so I don't want to be redundant.
I was trying to solve a problem over here. I wanted to hear what you had to say.
Well, I'm kind of to the mindset where if I don't have anything to say, I'm just going to give the listeners a break from my voice for a while.
Oh, you did a great job
Probably getting tired
there
of me.
for the face-off now to the left of Daniger. With 9:36 to go in the first period. Just poetic, Bart Archer. It was beautiful. Back behind the net, Rudrud jams his man. John Middlestad gets a stick. Nice little position on the spin play there, but now it's going to be Hillman with it. Watched by Rudrud. Hillman gets away from him. Ooh, goes to the phone booth and gets away from two Blaine or Eden Prairie players. They're going to be content to just send it the length of the ice. Well, if you're Lee Smith, your team has got the forecheck going.
Well, indeed they do. They're very aggressive, putting 2 men on the puck carrier, and really some nice work by Spencer Rudwood and John Middlestad down low. They really made it difficult for Blaine to even get an option to get out of the zone. Finally, they found an avenue, but once they got it to him, he just sent it down the ice. So faceoff's going to be to Daniger's right. 9:13 left in this first period, but nice forecheck, as you said, by Eden Prairie Eagles. They're really doing all the things right. It's just a bit of a misplay.
Bad bounce.
Yeah, absolutely. But you got to work through it. Got to play on.
Cut off at the line. Holt sends a shot that hits traffic. That is off Jensen. Now it's going to be Hansen, left wing side. Rickles can shoot it. He does. And there's a nice glove save. Batted away by Rosenlund as it stays in play up to the top of the circles. Now Schaffer plays that off the boards. He took it from Hauff. Jensen comes away with that center. He's going to try and move it quickly to Holt, but he was cut off on the play. Nice little job by Hansen there, but the Eagles muscle it across the line anyway and get it deep as Hauck carries back in behind the Blaine net. Turns away from Batchelder, but there's Jensen to poke the puck away from him. Jensen now Batchelder. Now it's going to be Holt. Looks to play this one back out of the corner. Jensen plays up to the line to Keegan Langfells. That hits Batchelder. And now it's going to be Keegan Langfells. Ooh, missed the mark there on Holt, who's had a tough angle to the corner, but Hauck comes away with it. But there's Jensen now. Holt again from the side of the net. Fanned on that one. Looked up to the slot. Luke Middlestad back down too far for Holt. Boy, it's just about for Holt on this shift. We'll see if he can change that around here on this shift alone, but sent back up the ice to the left wing side as the Eagles will regroup in their own zone. Rickles is all over Middlestat. Helping him out now is Brodzinski, who was checked on the play, and Jensen nearly pulled that away, but Brodzinski gets the board battle. They score! A board battle off the end board, sideboards rather, by Brodzinski. Over to the left wing side. Hansen makes it 2-0 Blaine. Oh, that was a big one right there, Bart.
Well, you can just feel it coming too. Eden Prairie chasing the play a little bit and fighting the puck, and I think it might have to do with fatigue. It was hold down in the offensive zone, just couldn't corral the puck, and that's what happens when you get a little bit fatigued. I'm not saying physically, but then Blaine came down with some energy, won the battle down low, got the puck on the weak side, and it was Cole Hansen that was all alone just from the left hash mark, and he just put it into that goal, beat Rosenlund. Rosenlund did everything he could to keep the puck out of the net, but it was just a nice pass by Brodzinski under the stick of Luke Middlestad over, as we said, to Hansen, and he put that one in. 2-0 Blaine, 7:45 left in the first period. 3 shots on goal. They got 2 tallies on the board.
Eagles played a center. Jones was there. 3 shots and 2 goals here for the Blaine Bengals. Gotta like that shooting percentage. Now it's going to be controlled back in their own zone by Streeter. He's going to leave it up high in the slot area off the left wing boards. Cut off by the Eagles and sent in by Schultz. They're still offside as Garrett Smith has to touch back up, and he does. But it's a freebie out of the zone for the Bengals with energy across the line with Streeter in on goal, and that's going to be stopped and held on to by Axel Rosenlund.
Well, I thought that once Rosenlund made that save, it was going to build a little confidence with him. But after that last one, I think confidence may have started to wane a little bit. But he made a pretty good save on that one. It's just good that he got to touch the puck moments after that. But it was a good wall win by Brodzinski on that one out to Hansen.
Well, that goal, there's nothing you can do about
absolutely.
it as a Kendi. I mean, you're just hung out.
And we're going to add a secondary assist to Rickles on that one as well. Penalty.
Eagles across the line with a delayed penalty. That one misses the mark. The big Karam will take it to the left wing side as it's touched by Brodzinski, and tripping will be your call. with 6:52 to go in the first period. Don't forget, coming up next, it's going to be Edina at St. Thomas Academy. Who knows what that game's going to look like?
Yeah, that's. I'm sure that the public favor is hoping for perhaps St. Thomas Academy, but I can't say that for sure.
I'm hearing nothing. I hear nothing of that.
No, I was just trying to create some controversy.
I'm hearing that this could be the first game that the Edina Hornets are that the fans want to win.
I'll have to believe it when I see it.
The only other time that was is when they played Hill Murray a couple of years, about 2010.
Yeah, everybody wanted both teams to lose that game, but Zach Schaefer going to go to the box for a trip. Great opportunity for Eden Prairie on the power play.
Now it's going to be Keegan Langfels who's going to draw it all the way back into his own zone, start it up the middle. Keegan Langfels leaves off. Jack Jensen's going to gather it with some speed across the line. Here comes Jensen, looks to carry it hard to the corner, but he's stopped hard, and it's thrown by Hillman all the way around the boards. You can hear the rapping on the bench by the Blaine Bengals. Love that. They know that they're going to lean on Jensen to do a lot of carry and lugging. And so they're just going to collapse on him and play the body. You can see it's clearly the game plan from up top here. Now it's Luke Middlestad across the line as he tries to work his way down. Ooh, jammed on the play there was Jensen. And now it's John Middlestad, whacked at there by Bryce Brodzinski. Up high it goes. Now it's Luke Middlestad with it. Jack Jensen takes over. Has snow on the uni from biting it there after that big hit. Keegan Langfels, low right corner, Luke Middlestad. Now John Middlestad can snipe. That hit Will Height on the way in, cleared to the neutral zone barely, and picked up by a Blaine Bengal player. That's Hillman to send that in deep with 43 to go in the man advantage. 2-0 the score in favor of Blaine. Shots on goal favor Eden Prairie, 7-4 here in the first period. John Middlestad, nifty little move to play it inside out down the wall, but that's cut off and thrown down the ice by Cole Algren. Now Batchelder with 25 to go in the power play. Lays it up to the right wing side for Rudrud. Gets away from one man with speed down to the corner. He goes, looked out front. That's off the stick of Daniger. Back up high to the line. They'll play it down low. Smith sends that through. Oh, he nearly fed a pass to Holt in front. Whistle on the play as Daniger covers, but nothing doing there as the faceoff will come up to his left with 10 to go in the power play.
Well, it was Garrett Smith on the right side along the goal line, tried to force it out front, but actually opted to go toward the goal, and Daniger made the save, and the puck was not covered, so a little bit of a quick whistle. I'd like to see a little bit more sense of urgency out of these Eden Prairie Eagles. They still have 10 seconds on the power play, but they look very deliberate and almost predictable and easy to defend. Move the puck to space and get some shots on goal, but it hasn't been a great power play for Eden Prairie. They were given a great opportunity.
Turned over, Jones with a quick shot. That's covered up by Daniger. The Eagles will get one more face-off with a 5-on-4 in the offensive zone. And then in 3 seconds, stepping on for the Blaine Bengals will be Zach Schaffer.
Well, that was a good play, actually. Good shot on goal. Daniger just outside the blue retrieved that one. Not a rebound available, but that's what Eden Prairie's got to do. Just get to the net, get some shots on goal.
Smith now for Holt. Full strength of the Bengals. Holt behind the net, being worked on by Hauk. Holt cycles to the corner. Garrett Smith runs away from a check. Hard into the net he goes. Loses something, called the puck. Oh, nice little slash that Jones got away from there. I guess nice little if you're him. Back across the line. Argetsinger plays it to the corner. Cam Langfels is there. Ryman is there. They look out front to the slot. That one off the stick of Hillman. This Blaine Bengal team is so explosive and they can score. Back up through center. Here come the Eagles. Jones across the line, leaves it to the corner. Cleared off the glass, but gloved down by Argetsinger. Deflected up high and out of play off the netting. And the faceoff comes back inside the Blaine zone.
Well, I think Eden Prairie's got to turn up the physical game. That's one thing that they have over many teams in this tournament is they can play a nice physical game without really changing how they go about their business. I think if they employ the physical game and try to slow this Blaine Bengals team down a little bit, they're going to have a better chance, at least in their own zone. Challenge at the blue line, but run them to the wall and at least let them know you're there. But, don't chase. It has to be with purpose. But Blaine very aggressive with their sticks so far in this first period. 4:05 left remaining in this first period. Blaine up by 2. But, boy, there's a lot of stick work by Blaine that Eden Prairie's just having trouble fighting through.
This is Tim Layton, Communications Director of the Minnesota State High School League and a 1982 graduate of Minneapolis Roosevelt High School. You are listening to the Minnesota State High School League State Tournament. We are the league. This is Tim Layton, Communications Director of the Minnesota State High School League and a 1982 graduate.
One of the best governing bodies in the nation when it comes to this, and today's coverage presented in part by Sportsman's Guide in South St. Paul, RJM Construction, Brew Pub Pizza, Lots of Matza, Tradition Companies, and don't forget about the Herb Brooks Foundation. It's been a great tournament weekend so far. Thanks for checking us out at the mnhockey.tv. Our very own Matty Ice directing the broadcast, writing the gamers here today, and John Sands running the scoring, the live scoring. It's been good stuff. .405 shows on the clock. They do the back and forth with the crowds. John Middlestad the shot. A lot of shot blocking sticks. Eagles are having their way and getting their chances, but they're not getting the good scoring looks as the play around the slot area and the crease area has been quite good.
Well, this is a Blaine team that's given up really about 40 goals throughout the course of the year, so they're very good defending. They're giving Eden Prairie some room around the periphery, so a lot of long shots on Daniger. Those are shots that he can manage and he can handle quite well, but once Eden Prairie gets in tight, that's when Blaine kind of buckles down and really makes the scoring area a very difficult area to navigate.
Face-off win by Will Height. John Middlestad turns away from a checker. Bothering him on the play out of the corner there was Streeter. Now Will Height comes in to help out with Brodzinski taking the body there. Bengals play this one up to the line. Into the neutral zone it goes as Schultz is going to play this one back in and behind. Daniger sets this one up. Bengals will work this out of the zone with Streeter. That's cut off at the line and sent right back into the corner. Handled now by Caldine. Watched by the Eagles. That's deflected back to center, and the Eagles are going to repel that right back into the Blaine zone. That went up off the netting.
It did. Beauty League rules.
Yeah, finally, Beauty League rules. Play it off the net, off the wall.
Keep playing moving.
Volleyball.
But Eden Prairie doing a pretty good job of actually trying to cut the ice in half and just sending Blaine back, make them come the full distance on the ice. But Blaine has been pretty good about navigating their way through a pretty tenacious forecheck by this Eden Prairie team. But they're having some success at least getting it out to safety and giving themselves a chance to regroup. But Eden Prairie doing a good job of pushing the play forward.
Pushed away from Holt and then cutting the pucks off through the neutral. Holt now with Jensen. Ooh, off the heel of his stick, lost the handle, had a prime scoring chance from the slot and sent right back down by the Bengals. And icing the call is giving chase was Busick. If that was a hybrid icing call like the NHL, if you get to the dot first, that would have been play on.
Yeah, would have been play on. And Clay Schultz gave him a little how you doing after the whistle. But not anything too aggressive. But faceoff is going to be to Daniger's right. But then, boy, a nice give and go with Drew Holt and Jack Jensen coming in the zone. The puck just kind of hit the heel of Jack Jensen's stick and stopped. So it limited what could have been a really golden opportunity for the Eden Prairie Eagles. Shots on goal 9-4 Eden Prairie.
Face-off win controlled by Schaffer and the Bengals. We're going to start it up and bring it all the way back down as icing will be the call. No, they said no.
They waved it.
Batchelder back into the corner for Luke Middlestad. Finds Jack Jensen at center, but it's Brzezinski to cut him off. And now that'll be the icing with 2:43 to go in the first.
You were just foreshadowing, Pete, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but when Blaine starts icing the puck, that means Eden Prairie's doing some pretty good things. They're getting the puck. They kind of forced that one to Jack Jensen. Didn't give him a lot of room to move. Not that he needs a bunch, but kind of limited that play. And then Blaine sent it down the ice. Now face-offs to Daniger's right. 2:43 left in the first period. Blaine up by 2.
These two teams have combined for 3 state titles. 2000 for the Blaine Bengals and for the Eagles back in 09 and 2011. It's not years, so that might favor the Eagles, but being down 2-0, one never knows.
Well, we got a lot of hockey to play, but you're right. They aren't making things any easier for themselves.
Playing quite well, though. Stansberry 4 checks, back off Hauk, who fights him off out of the left corner. Turned over up high. Kresbach shot it on goal, turned aside. Daniger reads that to his left. That's the 10th shot of the game now for him. Back at center, it's Schoberg. Checked by Luke Middlestad. Back into Eagle territory it goes as it's going to be Kai Stansberry to retrieve back behind his own net. Sends a pass to Kresbach back across center ice. He's checked on the play, stays on it, looks to work it to the corner. Oh, someone's going to get a penalty, and that's going to be the Bengals as Kresbach draws the hook.
I'm not sure. Yeah, you are correct, Pete Wagner, and I think that's going to be Hauk that's going to go too, and he's one of their primary penalty killers. So move your feet, good things can happen, but another good opportunity by Eden Prairie on the power play. But I think they have to have a little bit more of a sense of urgency getting that puck into the area, but moving it a little bit more efficient, anticipating getting the puck so you know what to do when you get it instead of taking that moment and allowing Blaine to reset and get back into position. Very important power play for Eden Prairie, important kill for the Bengals.
False start on the draw. We start over.
Flags are thrown.
Absolutely. Brodzinski and Jensen. Jensen the clean draw for Langfels, playing the right side now here. John Middlestad over on the left. They're going to bring it hard back to the corner. Deflected up high to Luke Middlestad from Jensen. Now Keegan Langfels, right side for Luke Middlestad. Jensen's going to walk and try and muscle his way through. He tries to swing it back in around the goaltender. That one wide and behind the net. Up to the right point now for Keegan Langfels. Rink wide for John Middlestad from the left side. Watched on the play by Rickles as he's going to play this back into the corner for Wilhite. Wilhite bumps the boards for Jensen from the corner. Back up to the top of the right circle for Luke Middlestad. John Middlestad up high now. Look straight through. They want the redirect off Wilhite to hit him right in the shin. Picked up and sent the length of the ice by the Bengals.
Well, at least Wilhite was in front of the goal trying to interrupt the sight lines of Daniger. So Eden Prairie looking a lot more efficient on this penalty kill with better purpose or power play.
Luke Middlestad with a minute remaining in the period. Down the right wing rail. Checked on the play. Goes flying and sent. Oh, they got a penalty coming up. A trip. That's going to be on Hillman. They got him right toward the thigh and the knee.
Well, he doesn't look any worse for the wear. It certainly got his attention as far as Luke Middlestad, but Hillman's still arguing with the referee, but he goes to the box, so it's going to be 5-on-3 for another minute and 4, barring another penalty being called. But yeah, that's he got his money's worth on that one.
Can't argue that one.
No.
You stuff the knee right into the leg there, you're going to go.
Well, the good thing is that Luke Middlestad got up. He had a couple words for Hillman. I don't think it was anything too dramatic, but now 5-on-3, a lot of space.
The sophomore wanted to fight.
Yeah, he kind of got his ire up a little bit, but Eden Prairie's going to still have to move their feet. A lot of times 5-on-3, they kind of stand and wait for something to happen. Move your feet, be difficult to defend.
John Middlestad back to the corner, 5-on-3, banged up and out of play. So the 5-on-3 will go for 57 seconds. There's 48.3 left in the first period. If you're the Eagles, you want to really dent that twine here in this first period.
Oh, that would be exactly what the doctor ordered, but Blaine Bengals sent it up and out of place. A face-off to Daniger's left.
John Middlestad from the corner, looks to the right hash marks. That's Jensen. Now Keegan Langfels to the left wing side. Luke Middlestad back to the low left circle to Rudrud. Keegan Langfels. There's a lot of standing still. You see this happen all the time in the 5-on-3. Just got to move it. There they go. They start rotating in front. John Middlestad pushes that wide. Rebound off the side of the net. 25 to go in the period. Kept alive. Keegan Langfels now plays back up to Luke Middlestad. Keegan Langfels a slapper right into the midsection. 17 remains in the first. And Daniger makes another save.
Well, they started to move their feet. They got a good opportunity, and it was Keegan Langfels from high in the slide, put a bullet on net, but hit it right in the Blaine logo, and Daniger did a nice job. He's really good at controlling. He's making the first save, but controlling the rebounds, really not a second chance opportunity. He just funnels it in and holds on to it, face off to his left. But good shot by Keegan Langfels on that one.
Again, another draw to the right side. 15 to go in the period. John Middlestad off the side of the goal. Rudrud battling away. Gets some help from John Middlestad. Quickly up to Luke Middlestad. Now it's Keegan Langfels. Looks back over with 5 seconds. Back door. That's deflected away. Ooh, that's a big one there. And the Bengals, huge bullet dodge there. There's only 9 left of the 5-on-3. They can get the draw, send it, and dodge the bullet. 14-4 are your shots on goal so far, Bart Archer. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll hear from our sponsors and much more. Thanks for joining us here at the MNHockey.tv. High school hockey continues in 15 minutes. We continue our between periods coverage here at the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament, and we're joined by a very special guest. He's known as Matza Matt. He from Brew Pub Pizza and Lots of Matza. Matt, thanks for joining us here today. I know you're a busy guy, and we got lots to talk about. You've got some great product and some of the best ingredients in your pizzas for sure.
Hey, thanks, Pete. Thanks for having me. Yeah, absolutely. Brew Pub Lots of Matza Pizzas. Really the ingredients for a great time, whether you're listening to a hockey game or whether you're enjoying the game and you want a treat afterwards. Brew Pub Lots of Matzahs are the way to go. Made with the finest ingredients, Pete. We've got the finest quality meat and veggie ingredients. We've got, of course, a couple of different varieties, too, that folks love, like the Mac Attack, which is a macaroni and cheese pizza. And then the best thing, the one thing that sets Brew Pub Lots of Matzah pizzas apart from the rest, over half a pound of award-winning Wisconsin mozzarella cheese. I've never heard anybody say, whoa, hold on the cheese. That's too much cheese. So we definitely have a great amount of cheese. We've got the great sauce and that thin crust for Brew Pub Lots of Matzah pizzas. It's the best around.
So seriously, whenever you buy a pizza from the grocery store, there's never enough cheese. But I have always known when I buy one of those, the Brew Pub Lots of Matzah, I'm more than pleased, more than happy, and it is perfect. You're right, the crust totally grooves. And here's the best part is between periods, what we do know is people like to get up, they like to move around. Now is the time, the oven's already heated up, throw it in there, and it doesn't take that long to have these things out and ready because you're not baking a loaf of bread.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, pizzas are the answer, whenever you're having friends over, or if it's it's a traditional Friday night pizza for the family, for mom and dad and the kids, or whatever the case may be. Brew Pub Lots of Matzah pizzas are the way to go. And the one thing I love about, too, it's a filling pizza. Like, you buy some of the other brands that they just, you have one piece, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're just not satisfied. With a Brew Pub Lots of Matzah, man, with those ingredients, with that cheese, you have a couple of pieces, and boom, you are taken care of. It's a very hearty and just a great pizza.
Except no substitutes. The others are basically an appetizer. This is the meal. So let's talk about some of the things that you guys do. You've got some really cool things coming up, and especially supporting law enforcement. Matt, can you tell us a little bit about what's going on with that?
Yeah, absolutely. We're a local company, Pete. We've got a production facility in Maple Lake, Minnesota, so made right there. We've got a production facility in Kaukauna, Wisconsin. And one thing about Bernatello's Foods, Bernatello's is the company that owns the Brew Pub Lots of Matzah, and we've got other brands as well. But we really support our veterans. We really support our law enforcement. We feel that it's very important to give back to those who serve us on a regular basis, an everyday basis. And so coming up here in May during National Law Enforcement Week, we're actually going to be tag teaming with a couple of different police departments, like one down in Sioux City. We're going to tag team with the Sioux City Police Department, the Edina Police Department, and then we're going to also tag team with Wausau PD over in Wisconsin. And we're going to host an event called Pizza with Police. The public is invited to come out, purchase a slice of pizza and a soda, and then we're going to donate that money back to a nonprofit organization. For example, in Minnesota, it's going to go back to Minnesota Law Enforcement Memorial Association, and they help pay for the funerals of men and women who have lost their lives in the line of duty. So a phenomenal organization, and we love giving back to veterans as well. So again, just a couple of groups of people that we really love to take care of.
That is absolutely incredible and great stuff by your organization. And how can anybody that's listening to this support and be a part of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can first of all go to your local grocery store and pick up a Brew Pub Lots of Matzah pizza all over the Twin Cities area, actually all over the upper Midwest, extend down to Kansas City, North Dakota, South Dakota, etc. So check us out online, too. You can go to Bernatellos.com or brewpubpizza.com. And, first of all, get yourself a delicious pizza, and then check out our webpage and find out when we're going to be at an event near you. We do a lot of country music festivals during the summer. We're going to be involved in a number of different things in Minnesota. So we're really excited to continue to get out there, shake hands, and let people experience a Brew Pub Lots of Matzah pizza.
Fire that webpage past us real quick.
Yep, it's brewpubpizza.com, so you can go to brewpubpizza.com, and then you'll be able to follow us there. And, of course, on Facebook, too, at brewpubpizza.
And then finally, those of you that are part of youth programs know that the Brew Pub Lots of Matzah, Bernatello's, obviously the parent company, provides a great fundraising opportunity. And a lot of our listeners are parents that are on boards or coaches or leaders of youth organizations. Tell us how they can make money selling your pizzas for their organizations.
Yeah, this is so exciting. Everybody, families have a great opportunity to raise some funds for their youth teams, for their youth organizations, and it's so simple. So we, Brew Pub Lots of Matzah, we tag team with a local grocery store. Folks that are involved with the team or the organization go out and sell coupons, and then those who buy the coupons can bring it into the grocery store and redeem them right there. So your kids aren't aren't delivering the frozen pizza. So, I mean, I'm sure it's happened before where you forget about the pizza and then before you know it, it's in the back of the car and you forgot to take it to Sally's house. That's not how it is with our fundraiser. So, yes, again, check it out. Check out more information at our webpage, bernatellos.com or brewpubpizza.com. And we've got a lot of great information there on our fundraising. It really is, and it's helped out a lot of teams. Edina, I know, Youth Hockey Association and their high school does it as well. So, yeah, check it out. It'd be great for you to come on board.
That's awesome stuff. You don't turn the youth players into your delivery drivers. Instead, as we go to the store, we can pick it up and enjoy great product. Matt, be safe. I know you're out and about, and you're a very busy guy. Thanks for joining us here with the State High School Hockey Tournament coverage. Have yourself a great day, buddy.
Thank you so much, Pete. Appreciate the time.
We'll be back with more high school hockey coming up right after this. We continue our between periods coverage of high school hockey state tournament coverage and section playoff time. And one of our great supporters and partners is the Sportsman's Guide. And we're joined by Scott Eichstad, Senior Vice President of Customer Experience and Operations. He's got a big job with a very big company that's located in South St. Paul, Minnesota. And Scott, you had an event last year called the Sportsman's Guide Beyond the Pond Sale. That's year one. This is becoming an annual event because you're bringing it back coming up on March 9th at noon at your store. Thanks for joining us once again, and we're excited to help promote this event for you. Can you talk a little bit about what's going on with your event?
Absolutely. Again, thanks for having me. And last year was our first annual Beyond the Pond sale event here at the Sportsman's Guide, and it was a success. We partnered with KFAN, and again, we're doing that again this year. They're going to have their live show right on location here in our store in South St. Paul. And Kevin Fallness, Pat Micheletti, and Lou Danny's going to be on site. And it's just a wonderful opportunity for customers to come in and meet the legends within the state of Minnesota hockey, and at the same time take advantage of some incredible one-day only deals, up to 60% off on a lot of product in our store. So we had a great kickoff event last year, and year two, and we foresee doing this year after year here, and the timing of it is great with the state high school hockey tournament, and which I obviously have a passion for on my past with hockey. So we're really looking forward to it. Well,
it's a great event, and it's a time we're all talking about hockey, and there's nothing more pure than high school hockey. I think that's what both of us have talked about a lot, and it's been in our blood for a long time. And there's a lot of traffic that's moving toward the St. Paul area, and I think one of the most important things is about your store. It's phenomenal. I mean, you've got everything in there, and for those that are familiar with it, they know exactly what they need, where they want to go, and what they have to do. But for those that are usually online shoppers, can you tell us a little bit about your in-store experience?
Absolutely. We're, again, Sportsman's Guide. We're in South St. Paul. We've been here. The Sportsman's Guide been around for about 40 years. And, the thing is with our store, whatever your passion, if you're an outdoors person, you're gonna find it in our store. If it's ammunition and shooting supplies, firearms, hunting equipment, tree stands, surplus, boots, shoes, clothing, fishing, camping, you name it, we have it. We have a rare and unique military surplus gear from the United States and all over the world. We've got a huge selection of ammunition that we sell most items in bulk. And then we have this clearance corner that at any given time there's discounts up to 30 to 60% off every day. So, and then a couple of other unique things I think for our store is if you're a first responder, retired or active duty military member, you receive 10% off your purchase or 5% off ammunition and firearms and other select items. Just our way of saying thank you for the men and women out there that support and take care of our country.
Well, Beyond the Pond is one of Minnesota's Twin Cities' only wall-to-wall hockey shows for 2 hours that you can find, and they're completely plugged in with Pat Micheletti and Brandon Molesky. I don't know if he's going to be a part of it again this year. You mentioned Kevin Fallness will be in the house. Lou Nanny will be there. It's a great time to come in, talk hockey. Check out your up to 60% off on sale items in the store. I suppose that covers just pretty much everything, right, Scott? I mean, I would assume.
Yeah, there's going to be deals and discounts. We're going to have some great drawings. We've got a Hummingbird Helix that's going to be a drawing item. We have some NCHC Frozen Face-Off tickets that are going to be available, and also a special prize from Ruger that you have to come in to see. And so we've got great discounts on anything that you are looking for from an outdoors perspective, activities, and then we've got some great drawing items. And at the same time, you can meet and get to know and listen to the show of Beyond the Pond, and get an opportunity to meet Lou Nanny, Pat Nicoletti, and Kevin Fulness. So it's going to be fun.
And then once again, your address in South St. Paul is?
490 Hardman Avenue, South St. Paul, Minnesota, and right off of 494 off Concord Avenue.
Perfect. So it's easy to get there. Either way, you're coming on 494, you exit Concord, you go north about a block or so, and you turn right, and it's right there. Massive, expansive facility. You guys have a warehouse within the store. So the storefront serves great, but then you can actually have people go back and pick your product as well.
That's the unique thing about our store, and that's the exciting thing about our store, is that from a square footage standpoint, it's not overly large, but we are connected to our warehouse, which is 400,000 square feet. So we have over 30,000 unique items in our warehouse that we obviously put into our retail store, some of them. But what's nice about our store, you can come and shop on the kiosk, go on the web, filter through our catalogs, and whatever we have in our warehouse, that shopping experience is taking place in our store. So we can do just a quick will call order. We'll go pick it out of the store, out of the warehouse, bring it into the store. And now, instead of a handful, the assorted items that we have in the store, we're expanding that to the warehouse, which is 30,000 SKUs. So it's a vast variety of items and a large amount of items that a customer can shop at any given time in our one store.
It's a hybrid shopping experience where you can experience the selections of an online purchase, yet you can touch it, feel it, and buy it. It's a great situation. So let's be sure to check out the Sportsman's Guide Beyond the Pond sale. 10 a.m. to noon on March 9th. That's Championship Saturday. Beyond the Pond and the crew will be there. Excited to see year two be even more successful after a great run last year. 60% off items, and you're going to have a number of drawings and things available, tickets as well. It's great stuff, Scott. Thanks for supporting high school hockey and making our coverage possible.
Thanks a lot. You're very welcome, and we're here to serve the public, and we're excited for the event that's coming in the next couple Saturdays here.
We'll be back with more coming up right after this. We're between periods of high school hockey state tournament coverage and section playoff time, and one of our great supporters and partners is the Sportsman's Guide, and we're joined by Scott Eichstad, Senior Vice President of Customer Experience and Operations. He's got a big job with a very big company that's located in South St. Paul, Minnesota. And, Scott, you had an event last year called the Sportsman's Guide Beyond the Pond sale. That's year one. This is becoming an annual event because you're bringing it back coming up on March 9th at noon at your store. Thanks for joining us once again, and we're excited to help promote this event for you. Can you talk a little bit about what's going on with your event?
Absolutely. Again, thanks for having me. And, last year was our first annual
And we welcome you back to the XL Energy Center. About a minute and a half away from the start of the third period, along with Bart Archer. I'm Pete Wagner. And the Eden Prairie Eagles really, they outshoot the Blaine Bengals 14-4, have the puck probably two-thirds of the period. And the next thing you know, it's 2-0 Blaine. Well, that's how playoff hockey works.
Yeah, indeed it does. And Eden Prairie actually has 17-10 advantage in the face-off circles as well. But now they start the period 9 seconds, have a 5-on-3, and then a remaining, 57 seconds of power play time. So a really good time for Eden Prairie to kind of get things going the right way. They've done a lot of really good things, Pete. I think they need to turn up their physical game at their own blue line, or every chance they get. I think they need to put the body on this Blaine Bengals team, slow them down a little bit. But Blaine, fortunate on the first goal, but they certainly are in the second goal. But Eden Prairie's got some work to do.
Well, the power play will be 5-on-3 for 9 seconds. So, it helps to get the draw. That much we know, Bart, right? And then you go from there.
Yeah, and I know that it's regular season, but hearkening back to the games that they played previously, Eden Prairie was 2 for 2 on the power play. Blaine was 2 for 3 on the power play. Eden Prairie obviously getting some opportunities, but they haven't really got to Daniger with anything too too quality, I guess, as it stands. They got some looks. They got a couple pretty good shots, but so far the saves that Daniger's made, he's made them look pretty easy. But Eden Prairie again is going to come out with some focus, and I think that if they can at least get something positive to happen, rewards for a lot of their hard work, because they're working hard today. They're doing a lot of right things, but they're just down on the scoreboard. But now it's time to get to work.
So the teams have met at their benches. They separate, and the Lions will get right back out there. And you mentioned, Bart, that there are a lot of pucks thrown right to the midsection of Daniger in goal for the Blaine Bengals.
Well, yeah, it's good that they're getting shots on net, but if you have a goaltender that's kicking rebounds out, you put as much rubber to the net as you can. But when a goaltender's just smothering the rebounds or smothering the potential rebounds, you aren't going to get any second chance opportunities. But maybe kind of send one high, send one low, shake it up a little bit, but don't shoot it into the crest.
Back underway, the Eagles get the draw. Will Height with 3 to go. Up high it goes to the line to Langfells. He's going to play over to the right wing side. Eagles now from the right corner, one man short. Back on the ice steps Hauk. Rolls to the center, 50 to go in the 5-on-4 now. John Middlestat gets away from the oncoming check of Rickles. Stays with him though, does Rickles. Nice work there by the sniper, the senior snipe.
Well,
Rickles sent right back down.
Rickles providing back pressure. I don't think John Middlestat thought that he could hang with him, but he went stride for stride and actually knocked the puck off his stick. So you have to be aware of what's going on around you. But Eden Prairie, I think, surprised a little bit at the speed of this Blaine forwards.
20 to go now in the power play. 16-12 here in the second period. Now Langfells with it, lays back for Jensen. Has speed across the line, carries it right side. Quick shot that's deflected wide to the corner. Luke Middlestad now bumps off the boards. Jensen with it, watched by Brodzinski. Where Jensen goes, Brodzinski goes. Pretty fair to say they may spring a man here if they get on it. They do, and that just hops the stick as Rosenlund will watch that one wide of the mark. And since it missed the stick, it's going to be an icing call.
Well, Will Hillman talking to the linesman again. I wonder if he's going to go into law as far as an interest moving forward, because he's certainly in front of the jury, but he's not going to win that case, so to speak. But it's going to come all the way down again to Daniger's left. We're early, 15:42 remaining in the second period. Now we're back to 5-on-5. Eden Prairie really didn't challenge Blaine too terribly much. Blaine good positioning, but Eden Prairie working the periphery a little bit more than I thought they should. Get the puck to the net and crash the net, but make Blaine force them to make some plays. They made it look awful easy.
I think it's fair to say that EP and Blaine rather got to get done what they wanted to get done there on that PK, and got a nice 5-on-3 on their resume here in this hockey game to go along with a 2-0 lead.
Well, Eden Prairie's going to have to play pretty honest from this point.
Rudrud was stopped in his tracks. Quick follow-through shot, though, as it trickles through on Daniger. A couple of chances for the Eagles there as the Blaine goaltender covers that one up and hangs on.
Yeah, one of the rare rebounds that Daniger's kicked out. It came out to the slot, almost near the hash marks, and it was Holt that tried to do a little bit of a redirect, but good positioning by the Blaine Bengals defenseman to really limit to what could have been a pretty great quality opportunity. But Eden Prairie at least going to the net. Get that funnel working.
The funnel.
Indeed. Hillman got Spencer Rudwood's attention on a hit coming into the blue line to free up Holt for that initial opportunity.
He literally stopped in his tracks.
Well, it's kind of one of those deals.
Train.
Indeed, and Rudwood's not a small man, and he's got some strength about him as well, but they stepped up, and that's what I think Eden Prairie's got to do as well, as step up, and it has to have purpose. You can't just hit somebody to hit somebody, but put the body on them if you get the chance. But a lot of play in the Blaine Bengals zone, but still that 0 on the scoreboard.
Jones in to draw against Scheib of the Bengals. Jones the win. Argetsinger the shot. There's one on the ice, a redirect. Bart, you brought up how all of them were about crest high.
Well,
take them off the butterfly all night long, and
like
that was a good one, hard on the ice.
Indeed, and it was Garrett Smith that was camped in front of the net. Argetsinger with a nice low shot on goal. I think that Smith might have actually got some lumber on that one, but Daniger did a nice job of tracking that. But just vary it up a little bit. Don't make it easy. Make him make a save, and that was a good start right there.
Jones again now against Brodzinski. Puck will be played up high to the line. That gets away from Cam Langfells. Argetsinger hustles back behind the net as he's watched on the play by Algren. Argetsinger accelerates out of the zone. Gets caught up to by Algren, but Argetsinger stays on it as it carries through to the line. Held in by Jensen. The left-hander from the right side tried to dangle his way through Hauk, who shut him down. From the side of the net, the Eagles will turn with Jones. It trickles in on Daniger. And there's Jensen once again. Where he goes, Brodzinski goes. As they say hello, the future Gopher teammates.
Well, and I like that as far as what Chris Carroll's doing. You know, best player against best player on each squad. And you're right, there's not a lot of room. I mean, Jensen has some room because he has some speed, but once it gets in between the dots, Brodzinski's very well represented playing the defensive side of it, and that's what good players or great players really can. It separates the good players from the great players is the players that can play defense as well. Easy for me to say, Pete.
Through center ice, here they come, the Blaine Bengals. A wrister that misses the mark and sent off the end boards. Rudrud finds his man through center with Will Height. Will Height will chop that one back in behind and around. Left wing side, Rudrud gets there, plays to the corner. Now John Middlestat gives chase. Picked off again by Rudrud. He turns and plays this one through. The Eagles have had the puck, Bart. They're really the majority of this hockey game. It's been pretty, I'd say one-sided, 17-4 shots on goal. I mean, stunning. It's 2-0, to be honest with you.
But they just can't get into the scoring area.
No, they're being thwarted.
Absolutely.
There's Will Height with a wrister. Blocker pad save. Down goes John Middlestat off the side of the net. Nice save by Daniger. That's shot number 18 for the Eagles. Holt cuts that one off in the neutral zone. Backhands and plays this one back in. Now on the play, it's Schaffer with it. Up to the line, gets away from Pager. And it's going to be sent in by Schultz, wide of the mark. And now gathering it in is Schaffer once again. Long pass to the right wing side, Schultz. Ooh, my word. Stood up Hillman, they both went down. I don't know who took the worst of that one.
That was impressive either way. Oh.
Don't see many of those, and a penalty coming up.
It's going to be Pager for a cross-check. He kind of fanned on the play. And it was against actually Scheibe, but then he put the lumber on him, and right in front of the referee, arm went up immediately. Now it's Blaine Bengals' turn on the power play to turn the tides a little bit. And as you said, Pete, Eden Prairie's pretty much dominated the flow of the play, and they've really dictated the pace, but they just can't get into the scoring area. But now that Blaine gained the zone, it was Argentina that whipped on that pass, and Blaine on the power play. Boy, you don't want to tempt fate too many times against this Blaine power play, that's for sure.
That was one of those moments where, you know, Argensinger kind of got pickpocketed from behind. He didn't really like what happened and kind of took it out on Scheib and said, I'm going to give you a little two-hander here, so much for that.
Well, the thing, Pete, is you're in the state tournament now. I mean, they're not going to quit on plays. These are teams that don't quit on plays, so you have to be efficient and have a mindset before you actually get the puck.
You're out shooting the team you're playing 18-4, and you're losing 2-0. And the last thing you want to do is make it 3-0.
Well, absolutely. This is a very big, obviously, goal. 2-1 is far different than 3-0. But Eden Prairie, if they can get through this, they're in pretty good shape. But Blaine hovering around 39% on the power play. You don't want to tempt fate too many times. But if they can get through this, they'll be in pretty good shape.
Tonight's coverage presented in part by Tradition Company. 7 companies for one solution for all your home building, buying, wealth management, and banking needs. Go ahead and get your mortgage from Tradition Companies. Check them out, traditionco.com. Also presented by Brew Pub, lots of matzo pizza, the half-pound award-winning Wisconsin mozzarella cheese. Get them at your local grocer. I know I do. RJM Construction for all your arena needs. They do building and remodeling. Check out their work at the Tria Rink, with the Tria Rink. Built a rink on top of a parking ramp. Also, they renovated Hopkins Pavilion, which needed a lot of work. They built the rock outside. And don't forget, we have the Sportsman's Guide big show event tomorrow from 10 a.m. to noon in South St. Paul. Beyond the Pond will be there up to 60% off in the store. It's a great deal there. Bengals control on the power play, top of the left circle. Snapper off the side of the goal. The Karam back onto a stick as they take this one up to the blue line. Hauk looks to the right side, but instead they're going to go down low to the left corner. They get it back up for Brodzinski from the left point, top of the left circle, gets it back to Hauk, who plays it over to the near side for Rickles, back up for Hauk. Brodzinski wanted the one-timer. Instead, he's going to dance it back up, kind of sidesteps over to the right. Now lays back over for Hauk, his snapper, off the glove of Rosenlund with the blocker. The Eagles try to poke that one to safety. Batchelder wanted to go off to the races. Now the left circle they go. Through the slot to the right side for Rickles as he takes it top of the right circle. Back down low they go. Hillman was there. Now it's Rickles again. Back up for Hauk, top of the umbrella. top of the right circle. Rickles glove save. Looked right into the catch glove there of Argensinger, the goaltender. Rosenlund, as he hangs on.
Well, that was a good save. It was from the right dot. Tried to go short side just under the bar, but Rosenlund's going to have to be probably the most valuable player in this game, especially in this penalty kill, but that was a really good save. That's got to be a confidence builder for him. Held on to it, allowing Lee Smith to put some fresh personnel on the ice, but Coach Carroll keeps the same personnel going.
Rickles plays that to the left wing side. Brodzinski again, snapper up off the netting.
Well, that was a good stick by Argensinger on that one. Just ramped it up and out of play. But I like the fact they have Brodzinski back on the point. He can see everybody on the ice. He's very good with the puck. He's very unselfish as well. Loaded up to get that shot on goal, but again, a nice busy stick by the Eden Prairie defender.
Brodzinski and Jensen in the face-off circle. 43 to go on the power play, 11:58 to go in the period. Got another heavyweight battle here tonight. Edina and St. Thomas Academy coming up next. Face-off win. Brodzinski's been good in the draw. Rickles for Hauk. Brodzinski from the left hash, walks top of the left circle. Back up high for Rickles, right down the middle. Now left circle. Brodzinski guides it back into the corner for Hansen. Back up for Brodzinski. He'll load it up and shoot that one up over the top of the net. Schultz is there, plays a little body work there. He goes down. Hillman's going to get the cross check. Offensive zone, power play penalty. Chris Carroll has to be less than pleased.
Well, I'm sure Hillman's going to lobby a little bit with the referee. I'm just kind of kidding, but Schultz and Hillman were having a battle in front of the net. It was Schultz that actually gave him a cross check. Hillman went down, and then when they went up, it was Hillman that actually gave Schultz the cross check. The referee decided to call that one. You know, if you let one go and maybe let the other one go, but this is really a benefit for Eden Prairie. 18 seconds left on the penalty to Sam Pager, and then a brief power play barring another.
That is tough, though, isn't it?
Absolutely, but it's the gamesmanship within the game. But it was a nice sell job by Schultz. He should get some hardware on that one.
4-on-4 for 16 seconds. It's going to be John Mittelstadt from the corner. He'll walk it up high. Mittelstadt puts on the brakes, lays it over to the right wing side. Keegan Langfels, top of the umbrella. Lays it down to the right side. This is 4-on-4. It looks like a power play. And Daniger makes the save, and right on the ice steps Pager. And the Eagles now 5-on-4 with an offensive zone power play with 11:13 to go in the period.
Well, it was 4-on-4. Eagles with 3 men high and 1 down low. A lot of room to move, but they worked it around the periphery. Got a shot from a relatively shallow angle, but Daniger again makes a big save. 1:41 left in the penalty to the Bengals' Hillman.
Jensen gets the draw, plays it off the boards, then back up to Keegan Langfels and John Mittelstadt down to the left corner. Jones up high to John Mittelstadt, who lays one right into Wetbart.
The crest. That one was a little lower, the crest of the jersey, so to speak, but that one was a little lower. Actually tried to go 5-hole, I think, but a good motion. At least he didn't set up and then wind up and fire. He did it in one fell swoop, so really challenged Blaine a little bit to get set up. So not a bad play by Eden Prairie, but they're getting the shots on goal. Just Daniger just isn't letting any rebounds out there. No second chances.
Doing his job for sure.
Absolutely.
Now it's going to be Keegan Langfels over to the right side. Luke Mittelstadt plays that one down behind for Jensen. Walks out of the corner. Keegan Langfels from scores! He just labels it into the shelf from the top of the right circles. And it's now 2-1 Eden Prairie, Blaine.
Well, that's a big goal for Eden Prairie. They worked awful hard. Finally got the first one. Sometimes the first one's hardest to get, but Keegan Langfels, the senior defender, that's his 9th goal of the season and his 4th on the power play, but that's exactly what Eden Prairie needed. Finally got rewarded for some hard work. 21-6 are the shot tallies, but Eden Prairie found themselves down by 2, but got a fortunate call for a penalty, put him on the power play, and Keegan Langfels picked up his team when he needed it the most. It's going to change the complexion a little bit. A 1-goal game is far different than a 2 or 3-goal game, so up to Blaine Bengals to respond. I'm sure they will, so Eden Prairie should be ready for a bit of a pushback on that one.
Bart, I was so completely taken by surprise. I was expecting another crest high shot.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, you can hear it in my voice. It's one of my worst calls of the year. I was like, oh, yeah.
Hey, guess what? He scored.
I was shocked.
No, but I think it went short side, just up over the shoulder of Daniger. He doesn't. He hasn't missed too many, but Eden Prairie now on the board at least.
Shot, right? Keegan Langfels found
absolutely.
that top corner from close range. Now it's Rudrud playing that one through. Here comes Keegan Langfels again. Loads it up. Just misses the mark. Smith was there with a chance. Now it's Garrett Smith. That one goes through the crease area. Langfell's shot deflected, rebound, scores! Garrett Smith ties it at 2.
Well, that's what happens when you score. You get energy, it lifts your bench up, and then the next line out has to maintain and sustain that energy, and that's exactly what Eden Prairie did. It was Langfels that took a shot. It was Daniger that made the save, and then things got a little owly, and Blaine started to chase the play, but it came to the right side of the net, and it was Smith that put it in from a shallow angle. He willed that one in, Pete. That one wasn't going in without a little bit of effort on that one, but it was Rudwood that actually took the defender out of it, and then it was Smith that pushed it in with a stick, dropped the puck. If you're an Eagle, he did.
Final review.
Well,
no,
he did
pushed it in with his stick.
Yep.
It was beautiful. But that's what that kid does. He battles, he scraps, he claws, he's around the net, he's buried, makes the play.
And I think Carson Jones is going to get an assist on that. He actually did the redirect, which really threw things out of rhythm a little bit, and that's when it ended up on Smith's stick. He pushed it forward, and then he got pushed with a cross-check from the back, and it looked like he might have pushed it in with his hand, but looking at the review, it looks like it should be a good goal because it initiated off his stick first and foremost, but there wasn't a hand motion, so that one should stand. 2-2, 10-27 left. 22-6 are the shots on goal, but the last 2 shots for Eden Prairie have been very effective. Whole new ball game, Pete.
How cool is that for the head coach to see his son score a critical goal?
Not a bad thing.
In his season's campaign, and I looked at Lee Smith down there. He didn't even react, but he's beaming inside. There's a chance down low to the slot. Push back now by the Blaine Bengals. 10-10 to go in the second period. Here from the XL Energy Center, we're knotted at 2 between these 2 additions. Now Argetsinger with it. Looks to play this one to the right wing, but that's cut off on the play by Hansen. Ooh, nice check off the side of the net on Ryman. Here come the Eagles back the other way with Holt. Holt finds Batchelder, lays into that one. That's blocked. Argetsinger, a shot saved. Daniger. Wow. A bullet from Argetsinger, shot number 23 on the night. Now Hillman across the line. There's a big one-timer that's turned aside by Rosenlund on the Busick bid. And sent right back into Eden Prairie territory. It's going to be Argetsinger to regroup back in behind his own line. Bumps off the boards to the right wing side for Holt as Holt tries to shovel this ahead for the oncoming Jack Jensen. Back in behind again it goes as it's played around by Cam Langfells up to the line. Schaffer is there. Stick save. Roseland, where did it go? Off to the right. He wanted to go left and it went right. Jensen now. Cam Langfells with it. Lays that one through everyone and icing the call. They just want to get out of here. 9 minutes remains here in this period, Bart Archer. And, you talk about a turn of events. After the Eagles scored, that was the most offensive zone time the Bengals, I think, have sustained the entire hockey games. I'm trying to paint this picture, but, it just feels like it's just.
Well, after you play a 3 overtime game, sometimes it's hard to manufacture energy. You can't just kind of flip a switch, so to speak, but once you get that goal, you get that little shot of adrenaline and some good feelings, and then you score another one. But as good teams do, Blaine started to push back and really put some pressure down. Holt had a bit of a tough shift. He got banged around a little bit, couldn't catch up with the puck, but Roseland made the saves that he needed to make to keep the score at 2. So not only were they able to manufacture some energy, but they were able to sustain it as well.
We're not even halfway through this hockey game, and Eden Prairie's already at 23 shots. They've been on the puck for much of this hockey game. It's just that they've been having a hard time getting through the defensive posture in the slot area by the Blaine Bengals. They've been getting sticks and all kinds of things. And sometimes I think you start squeezing it tight. Yeah. You start trying to make one play too many. And that tends to happen a little bit here at state tournaments like that. And you get cute. But in the end, it's about getting pucks on the net. And you don't have to be cute. You just have to work hard. And Garrett Smith showed that at the very end. But for me, what I like is the Blaine Bengals said, okay, we're not laying down here. And they come back right after you. After someone scores, you find out a lot about them. If their next best effort, their next best setup there is right off the face-off and they give a good push, that's what you're looking for. Chris Carroll has to be happy with that.
Absolutely. Well, you don't get to be 23-2-2 without doing some good things and having some character. But I like the pushback from Blaine. But again, the shots on goal, they're moving the puck around in their redirections, causing Daniger to work a little bit harder. But they found a couple chinks in his armor so far.
Long pass ahead as it goes across the line with Will Height. Here come the Eagles. Left circle, John Middlestad wanted short side. He got nothing but boards. Now it's going to be Jensen. Gets a quick hands, gets away from one man in front. It goes. Jack Jensen's skill level's been on display here for 2 hockey games. No question asked. Back across the line it goes. It's Brodzinski now. Another man with high skill. Blocked. Ouch by Keegan Langfels. It's Will Height. He has John Middlestad and Rudrud with him. Rudrud, the high trailer shot. That might have hit the post as it comes back up into the neutral zone. And on an Eden Prairie stick, and Luke Middlestad, nice feed. Oh, Rudrud couldn't handle that one, got under the stick. Now it's going to be Streeter with it, plays that one ahead. Keegan Langfels off the boards, too far, and icing will be the call with 8:10 to go in the second period.
Well, Eden Prairie's defense is playing outstanding as it stands so far. They're really not letting giving the zone away. They're stepping up and really kind of turning the play back up the ice. So Blaine, once they start getting some offensive rhythm, it's the Eden Prairie Eagles that are stepping up, but the forwards are coming back to help, so their defense can afford to step up. If they can keep doing that, that bodes very well for Coach Lee Smith and the Eden Prairie Eagles.
Bumped off the boards. That's off the leg of Schaefer as the Bengals will regroup. No ice on the play as it's Pager back in behind his net. Hard ring around for Jones. Gets a deflection, but not out of the zone. Sent right back in behind Rosenlund in the Eden Prairie net. Schultz hits the stanchion. Oh, perfect bounce there. Look out, here they come. Busick in front. Rosenlund's down and prone. Makes the pad save. Played to the corner by Smith. They get back possession up high to the right side. Busick shot's blocked by Smith. There's another wrister that's blocked again by Rudrud. Poked off the boards. Now it's going to be gathered and held on to there by Ryman. There's a shot blocker pad save turned aside by Rosenlund. Now it's going to be Rudrud. Looks back up to the blue line and it's going to be turned back. Busick, great pressure here by the Bengals. They basically took exactly what I said wasn't happening for the entire game and have gone to work. 7:12 to go in the second.
That's what good teams do.
No ice on the play after the Eagles work it down the ice and get a change. Pager plays the body in the neutral zone. Jensen gloves it down. Here comes Jensen. Ooh, he wanted to work a move. Instead, he gets stood up, shivered, if you will. Now it's Holt from back in off the end line, watched by Scheib, who comes away with it, cut off by Jensen. Jensen tried to cycle it back into the corner, and a penalty coming up. What do we got?
I don't know. We'll have to wait for the official ruling. It's going to be a cross-check.
Daniger's stick go down like he's frustrated. It's going to be on a Bengal.
Well, and that's what happens when you move your feet. Jack Jensen, very difficult to contain, and he can change directions quite quickly. A lot of stops and starts have to keep you on your toes, but I think it's Schaffer that's going to go for that one again. But a cross-check for Blaine Bengals. Boy, they aren't doing themselves any favor putting Eden Prairie back on the power play. But some good work along the wall. Just got a little aggressive with the stick. But, again, the challenge is in front of the Blaine Bengals to pick up Zach Schaefer and get through this penalty kill. 6:50 left in the second period. Shots on goal 24-10. Advantage Eden Prairie, but we're knotted up on the scoreboard.
So Schaefer goes for a cross check. There's a backdoor attempt for Jensen that misses the mark. Luke Middlestad now up for Keegan Langfels. We're tied at 2. John Middlestad lays it over to the right wing side. Now Jensen has it, looks back up high in the slot area. Instead they go to the right side for Keegan Langfels. John Middlestad stick handles to the slot. Scores! That might have been deflected by brother Luke. I'm not sure, but it's 3-2 Eden Prairie. 3 unanswered here in the second period.
Well, that's what happens when you run to the penalty box. Eden Prairie has some definite talent on that one, but good patience by Eden Prairie. Worked it around the periphery, but it was Middlestad that actually got it from the left point, walked it out to the center, decided to take a good wrist shot. But as you said, it might have been Luke that redirected that. We'll have to look at the rebound, but it all started with Langfels. Langfels over to John Middlestad. He walked it to the center and just decided to unload one. And it looks like it actually went off Daninger's glove. It was either Will Height or Luke Middlestad that really kind of congested the sidelines, but I think that was clean. I think they're going to give that one to John Middlestad.
Middlestad will walk to the slot, lets the snapper go. That is a high riser. It caught an Eden Prairie stick on the way through.
Yeah, that'd be Luke Middlestad then.
Was it higher than the bar? We're going to be looking at this one.
Another review. Well, I don't think it was higher than the bar, but it's right in that area, so they're going to take the necessary time.
Based off of the replay you look at here that we have the luxury of seeing.
I think it's a good goal, but again, it's too close to call. Boy, pins and needles.
Didn't really look like either one of the sticks were much over the waist, actually.
Correct. or at least under the armpits, but 1:36 left in the penalty if the goal is disallowed. So it might take a little of the starch out of Eden Prairie, but they still have plenty of opportunity on the power play if it is indeed ruled no goal. But they're going to count it. Looks like 3-2 Eden Prairie. Power play goal.
Wow.
Second power play goal out of the 3.
6:26 to go in the second period, Bart Archer. I'm telling you right now, Bart, I'm like, it's just, you can't predict it.
Well, again, Eden Prairie, yes, they have 3 unanswered goals, but you better hunker down because this Blaine Bengals team has too much talent to not push back. So I think Roseland's going to be called upon within the next minute and a half. But they're still talking about it.
They had 86 shots. Oh, now they're going to get on the phone. Uh-oh, Lee Smith's going to be concerned now.
Is Toronto a long-distance call, I'd imagine?
Oh, they charge a penny for every minute.
Gotcha. Take your time then. But one thing this does is it kind of takes a little bit of the energy out of Eden Prairie celebrating what could be a goal, but it allows Blaine Bengals to kind of just regroup and get grounded again. This is too good of a team to give up 3 goals in this period without some semblance of a pushback.
Referee is still on the phone right now talking things over with the replay officials that are just a few doors down from us up here in the press box as they're looking over things again.
Well, I don't think
you can't really tell if it hit a stick. That's the problem.
Well, in fact, you are correct. Even on the slow motion replay, nothing is defined. I know it went off Danager's glove, but it's just what happened between the John Middlestat release and once it got to Danager's glove. But it did kind of trickle off and trickle up over his shoulder. But boy, this is taking a long time to kind of deliberate about.
Well, the replay officials that do this do
goal.
The NHL games.
It's a goal.
So the Eagles got to Selly 3 times. They got the original goal, then when they thought they had it, now they did it again.
Lost a little veracity
each
one, but they'll take the
toned
celebrations.
Down in nature.
But boy, insult to injury to Blaine. They had to suffer through that, but here they come with some energy.
Off the face-off, played ahead by Luke Middlestat. It's 5-on-5 now, 6:19 to go in the period. John Middlestat with it. Jensen, who ran into a man, that was Will Height as he let that shot go. Luke Middlestat with it. Back down low it goes. Poked away there by Ryman as he's going to carry this one up ice. Checked on the play by Luke Middlestat. Now the Eagles will regroup back through center with John Middlestat from the left wing side. He's going to cut against the grain, poked to safety by Jensen. Plays it to the corner, back behind his Will Height. Tried to make some room, lost an edge and fell down. Back onto a Bengal stick. That hits Busick in the back as it's played now to center. Argetsinger regroups, looks to the right side through center for the Eagles. Will Height lets a shot go. Danager watches that one wide of the mark. Cam Langfels pokes that to the corner. Jensen comes away with it. Jensen's bumped on the play by Streeter. Now it's Batchelder to help out. Comes out and shoots, misses the mark there. Big carom to the left point. Cam Langfels deflected away. And now it's going to be Hillman to the left wing side. Cam Langfels, ooh, he got risky there. It would have been off to the races for Hansen.
He made the play, though.
Ooh.
Risk reward right there.
Sent right back in and a delayed offside. Absolutely, Bart Archer. That was not for the faint of heart.
Well, the official scoring was Luke Middlestat with his 5th first goal on the power play from his brother John Middlestat and Keegan Langfels. Langfels well represented on the scoreboard.
So
A
they
goal
didn't
and
say
2
it
helpers.
was deflected.
They did say it was deflected, 10:34.
And they're saying it was deflected under the bar.
Absolutely. And that's what we thought. I mean, looking at the replay, obviously our perceptive an angle.
The puck changed trajectory. It went up.
Started
but
to wobble a little bit.
You know, you couldn't see what stick it hit. If it was the first one or the second one, the first one, which was Luke's, was a little bit higher, I think.
Yep.
Goodness.
But they took the necessary time to make sure they got the call right. So, as Blaine looking at it from their perspective, at least they took the necessary time to get the call correctly. So Eden Prairie did earn that one. 3-2 is the score. 5:13 left in the second period. Shots on goal now 25-10 for Eden Prairie, but the play's been in the Blaine Bengal end probably for 80-85% of this period. And it's Axel Roseland that really hasn't seen too many challenges this period, Pete. So once
Blaine,
or the first, I guess. Yeah, I suppose 10 shots on goal in this much time, 25 minutes.
He saw 4 in the first and 6 here in the second.
Yep. And the 6 here in the second really haven't been horribly challenging. He's made one good glove save,
Ooh,
but
the Skull chant kicked in.
even the cadets are getting involved in it too.
The cadets.
The cadets.
They've got their little suit things on, whatever you call those. They're
dress blues,
what do
baby.
you call those? The suits they wear, the dress blues?
That's what that's what they called them back in the day.
Well, we'll call them that for now.
But they look sharp.
Icing and back into the Eden Prairie zone it goes.
I rocked that ensemble, by the way, just so
Oh,
you
I'm
know.
sure he did. You had a problem with the hair, though, didn't you? Was it
A
below the
little
ears?
bit, yeah.
And the beard. And the beard.
No beard for me.
Bart's conflicted. Are you conflicted for this next game?
No, not
Cadets
at all.
and Hornets.
Not at all. I call it right down the middle, as I always do, Pete, when the Hornets play.
Bad save by Rosenlund. Oh, that's as good as it gets
Well,
right there.
The effort's there anyway.
It is. Rudrud's shots deflected. Batchelder pushed through the slot area and picked up by Brodzinski. He's going to carry it through center. Poked off his stick. Nice job by Batchelder. Now it's Holt with it. He's got speed to the right wing side. Loads up the shot. Can't get it through as that was broken up by Schaefer. Off the side of the net it goes. High in the air. Played down by the Eagles as they'll try to win the battle off the boards, and they do as Holt sends a shot that's deflected. Everybody shoots the puck, and they got a stick right in their mitts. That was Hansen with a nice play. Sent back into the Eden Prairie zone behind the net from the left corner. Bengals will chase this one down. Hansen and his team trail 3-2 with 4:12 to go. Now it's sent in by Holt. Wide of Daniger. Oohs and ahs from the crowd as he reached with the blocker. He might have gotten a piece of that. It looked awkward.
He should have put that one on goal.
Back up through center ice it goes, and icing the call.
Well, Drew Holt, we know he's a vital member of the success of this Eden Prairie Eagles squad, but he's fighting the puck a little bit tonight. You're always going to have speed because he's been gifted with that, but puck's been rolling on him. He hasn't really got a clean bit of possession. He'll work through that, obviously, but if they can get him going, that really bodes well for Lee Smith. But Blaine Bengals, obviously they're being outplayed this period, but they're hanging on pretty good, keeping things still to the outside, but Eden Prairie playing with more confidence as the period grows.
Off the end boards it goes. Now it's going to be Hauk to play it. Picked off by Jones as he's going to ring that back in behind. Here comes Smith to cut it off. Off his stick, though, as the Bengals converge on the left wing wall of the Eagles in the offensive zone. Jones again tries to will it to the corner. Instead it goes up to Pager. Waits for someone to get in front. That's Smith with the deflection wide of the mark.
That was good patience by Pager.
Schultz now to the corner. Jensen is there. Fights off a check. Top of the right circle. Turns and sends that one back toward the glass. Off the end boards it goes. The Bengals once again work the offensive zone and a delayed penalty. I think this one's on the Eagles. Jones is going to go.
Either Jones or Garrett Smith. I think it's going to be Garrett Smith, to be honest with you, Pete. He just got his stick.
Oh, Jones was the one pleading the case.
You are correct. Yeah, he hired him. Pro bono, I believe.
A law firm of Jones and Jones and Jones.
Dewey, Screw and Howe. But it's going to be Garrett Smith that's going to go for a hooking penalty. So really a great opportunity for this Blaine Bengals team to kind of get some offensive flow again. They seem to have lost their offensive rhythm just due to the effort from Eden Prairie, but now they're going to get a golden opportunity. And we've said it a million times, 39% power play. Don't want to tempt fate, but what a great opportunity it is for Chris Carroll and the Blaine Bengals to tie this game up.
Brodzinski, the draw back to Rickles. Hillman back up to Rickles, plays it to Hauk. Hauk now plays left side. Brodzinski in his familiar spot, likes to walk top of the circle and kind of rotate in and around there. They keep the three men, Rickles, Hauk, and Brodzinski high. Now it's going to be Brodzinski. He's going to go for a skate back in behind. Here's a chance. Rickles misses the mark. Thunders that one off the
Didn't miss by
boards.
much on that one.
No, he didn't. Now it's going to be picked up by Hillman. Ooh, loading it up there was Brodzinski, swatted away from the goal mouth area, top of the crease by Langfeld. Now it's going to be on the stick for Rickles. He'll guide it up high, looks through traffic, didn't like what he saw. There's a shot through the crease area there. 1:09 to go. Now it's up to the top of the point again. Rickles, one-timer. Nope, backdoor for Hillman. Tried to reach it with his skate, couldn't get it from the right corner. He's bothered on the play by Rudrud. Now the Bengals control again, top of the right point. Rickles with it, looks back up high. Hauk gives over for Brodzinski. Brodzinski with it, turns away from traffic, dances over to the right wing side. Brodzinski's shot hits his own man, Hillman in front. Rudrud gets position, shovels one up in the air, but batted down by Hauk. as a backhander for Rudrud that didn't have enough juice. They control now with 32 to go in the man advantage. It's been in the offensive zone the whole time. Fanned on there by Brodzinski, poked away, but kept in at the line. Bryce Brodzinski gets there now for Hauk, top of the umbrella. Down low it goes. Going to be controlled now by Rickles from the right hash marks, top of the right circle. Lays that one back over. Rister, blocker pad save. Rosenlund saw it through. Back into the corner it goes for Blaine in front. Ooh, that nearly went in off Langfelds. Remember they had a goal that way earlier. Now it's Rickles up to the line, 4 to go. The power play, all entire 2 minutes in the offensive zone off the end boards. Rickles turns and shoots. Puck's loose. That one just misses the mark. 5-on-5 now as the Eagles are at full strength. And now it's going to be Hillman playing this one up to the line. Rickles shots blocked. That's off Garrett Smith, who they got numbers down low. Shot save. Rosenlund turned aside there. Hansen comes away with it, lost the handle. Holt chips that one. It stays in play in front of the bench area. Holt up the right wing side, brought down by Brodzinski. Penalty coming up. Power play for the Eagles. 54.5 to go here in the second period.
Boy, really nice power play. It looked like Blaine was starting to establish themselves again. Good penalty kill by Eden Prairie, but Blaine had their moments. But it was Holt that chipped it off the boards, and then it was a foot race. That's what happens when you move your feet. And it was Brodzinski that couldn't catch up with him, got a stick in the way, and pulled down Holt. He might have oversold that one a little bit, but now it's going to be another power play for Eden Prairie right after. Oh, he just gave him a little push. I don't know if that's a really great call, but a referee was right there.
Yeah,
so.
I know. That's why I said penalty. I was a little surprised there,
but good effort by Holt, actually using his speed to draw that penalty. Now Eden Prairie with a golden opportunity, boost the lead by 2. 54.5 seconds left in the second period. Blaine can use their primaries to finish this period off and then start with their primaries, so that's the benefit. But Eden Prairie can rest theirs as well. So very trying moment for the Blaine Bengals. Very important face-off. Face-off to Daniger's left.
Well, what put that in jeopardy there was the speed of Drew Holt. And Brodzinski had been out. While he had not been racing up and down the ice, he had some issues.
Yep.
Face-off win by the Eagles. 52 to go. Rudrud plays this over to the right corner. Batchelder loads it up. Shot that's blocked. And back out of the corner it goes.
I see 4 forwards and 1 D. Power play for Eden Prairie.
Rudrud, the slapper. Traffic, puck's loose. Daniger's down. Scores! Carson Jones. It's 4-2 Eden Prairie, a power play marker. Going from trailing by 2 to start the period, leading by 2 with 33.6 to go. Wow.
Well, Carson Jones earned that goal, and it was Daniger that did his best to keep the puck out of the net, but Daniger's being consoled by one of his teammates. It's been an onslaught for Eden Prairie this period. They just have to make sure the attitude of their goaltender is in a good place right now. It's not his fault. He made the first saves, but nobody blocked anybody out, and I thought it was Garrett Smith that actually initially did that, but it was Wilhite. But that's how many bodies were down in front of that net unaccounted for. So Blaine's got to tighten up. If they're going to take penalties, they got to tighten up in their own zone. But Eden Prairie, that power play is flexing its muscles right now. 4-2, 33.6 left in this period. Eden Prairie up by 2. What a turn of events this period has been.
That was their second unit, Bart, with Jones, Smith, and Holt.
Not a bad second unit to put out there.
Wow.
And not only that, but a rest of 1, so now they're going to finish out this period. Blaine's got to kind of tighten up their game a little bit in their own zone.
In on goal, steered aside by Rosenlund. Oh. That one misses the mark. Now it's going to be Rosenlund to cover, right?
Boy.
Along the goal line. He went snow angel and hauled it in.
Boy, Eden Prairie, a vulnerable moment. It was Hillman that actually came around with some speed and tried to stuff it in short side, and he almost made that happen. But Rosenlund, I don't know how he kept it out of the net, but then he went snow angel on that one just to cover the puck. But really good answer by Blaine, showing some energy, showing some purpose. But good focus by Blaine. Now the faceoff's going to be to Rosenlund's left, 22.6, so still plenty of time for Blaine to answer.
Puck will be played to the line, back to center. Schaefer is there. Back in behind, Rosenlund sets up. Cam Langfelds with it. Lays it over to the left wing side. John Middlestat checked on the play. Quick pass there for Busick across the line. Wow. 4 unanswered here in the period. The Eagles outshoot the Bengals by a 15-8 margin. have that category 29-12. Our big turn of events here in the second period.
Well, indeed, and the shots are indicative as far as possession on this. Eden Prairie with twice as much possession as Blaine. Blaine just seems like I don't want to, and I don't mean this to begrudge them or demean them, but they look out of sorts. They seem like they're distracted about the little things that aren't working in their advantage. So Eden Prairie's not only has an advantage on the scoreboard, but they're kind of getting in Blaine's heads a little bit.
It almost feels like Eden Prairie's playing too fast.
Yeah, and Blaine
and that tempo is a little much.
And Blaine's constantly trying to play catch-up. Not a good position to be in, but I'm sure Coach Chris Carroll will get them focused, poised, and coming out with some energy during that third period. It promises to be a good one.
We continue with more high school hockey coming up. 15 minutes, third period. Semifinal action from the XL Energy Center. Eden Prairie leads Blaine 4-2. High school hockey continues right here at the mnhockey.tv. It's a state tournament at its finest, and we're happy to bring in the architect, one of the guys that has a lot to do with putting this together. Brad Berrickman is the Vice President of Community with RJM Construction out of Golden Valley, and they've done a lot of these beautiful structures that we see that our kids get to play in, that we get to participate in as adults and play the great game of hockey. And Brad and his company are also partners with the Herb Brooks Foundation, which is a big reason why we're here today. So, Brad, without further ado, thanks a lot for joining us here between periods.
Happy to be here, Pete.
So I love this topic because I was intimately involved in a specific build-out of a building at the Hopkins Pavilion. I've utilized the rock at the St. Louis Park Rec Center. Those are two of your more recent jobs that I've been a part of, and you guys continue to churn them out. Can you tell us a little bit about how your firm got involved in the hockey arena space?
So it really started with the founders of the business, Bob Josart and Joe Maddie. And the very first ice arena project that we ever did down in Phoenix, Arizona, as well as Plymouth, Minnesota. We kind of got that niche on those first two projects, and then gained a knowledge base there that expanded here today.
What have you found in terms of municipalities, whether it's cities, not many privately owned rinks here? As far as their needs and what they need, obviously there's a budget constraint, but you have to make money too to keep your doors open. How have you been able to work with the municipalities, and have you found that to be an easy process?
It's definitely an easy process, and what we've found over the years is they're building facilities that are 50-plus year facilities. So they're really building for the longevity and the operational efficiency. Really enjoy working with the cities and building them something that will last into the future.
Can we talk a little bit structurally about the rock? Do you care if we go there for a second?
I wasn't directly.
Okay, we'll not use that. Let me pause for a second so I can see the break. Let me see something here. Are these her notes for you or
Yeah.
not? Can I see those real
Yeah.
quick? I should have printed them out. We're cool. So in terms of what you guys do to put together projects, there's a lot of details that go into play. I mean, it goes from refrigeration to structures to, I'm sure there's a lot of code that you got to meet as far as what has to be done. How deep into this do you have to go as an organization to make sure everything is right as you build?
So our experience, like I say, our refrigeration partners can build ice anywhere. Our job is to give them a building envelope that basically encapsulates that whole thing. Important factors, I think, goes without saying, the insulation of the structure itself. So we work with our design partners to come up with the most efficient insulation systems to house these ice boxes, as well as dehumidification units is one of the more critical components within the facility as well.
Do you find are there different needs in the dehumidification from facility to facility? Some are renos, right, renovations, and some are build-outs. What I think, to me, just being a novice, that would be a heck of a challenge, especially with our summers.
For sure. I mean, when you're dealing with an existing building structure, you have to take that into account. Building envelopes constructed in the 60s and 70s didn't have the technology that we have out there today. So you can really run into condensation issues and things like that if the building envelope isn't technically up to code.
So when you guys take on a project, it's usually probably a bid. I'm sure that's how it works in the industry, correct?
Typically when we're working with the municipalities, we act as the construction manager. So we're involved in the process from basically the onset. We work along with our design partners, and I say that the clients get their best value with the involvement of a builder such as RJM Construction early on during the design, to have our input on cost and technology side up front during the design. I guess over time, with our involvement during the pre-construction, you can save significant amount of money during the design.
Let's talk a little bit about the tree rink that you guys worked on. I mean, it's an incredible vibe in there. Now, when you did that, did you start on the roof, or was that in the building? Can you kind of walk us through that project?
So there was interior demolition that occurred early on, but they basically built the rink facility on top of that parking structure. One of the cooler features of that project was we actually had to lift a crane on top of the roof with another crane to start erecting that facility. So that was pretty incredible means and methods. Something we're really proud of.
How delicate was that? I mean, so not only are you lifting a crane with the crane, but you're on top of the demo with the crane, and you don't want to see the structure come down.
A lot of engineering involved and a lot of pre-planning meetings and coordination with the city to block off the streets and things like that.
So then you've got the big window that is on what I believe is that kind of the southwest side of the building, something like that. And there's the tinted glass that can be controlled. Was that something that you guys were a part of? And if so, how did that all come about?
So we were involved in the pricing aspect of that during the design. Value is always at the forefront during the design and engineering, and we were definitely involved in cost solutions for that.
The locker rooms that you did at the Hopkins Pavilion, the greatest part about that project was every high school team that went in there just hated going in there because you could fit about 3 guys per room. They're so small. And then they're just massive. You could almost fit a varsity and JV team in some of those new locker rooms. Is that kind of a trend that you guys are seeing, is to get more space for locker rooms for everybody?
So there is a lot of thought put into the size of the locker rooms. As a hockey parent myself, I understand what it's like to get your kids dressed. I have a first-year mite in some of the tiny locker rooms in some of the older facilities. So that's definitely front and center of my mind, as well as our design partners.
And then in terms of other things that you're seeing, so if there were structures that were built, let's say, when I think of like the larger facilities that were maybe built in the mid-'90s and how they've evolved to today and how things have changed, has there been a going trend that you've noticed as far as some of the upgrades and features that you guys are putting into rinks right now today?
Definitely on the refrigeration systems and just the building envelope technology that's out there today. Is significantly better than it was 25 years ago. So there's a lot of thought and consideration that goes into the building envelope that houses these facilities. And another common trend that I'm seeing, a lot of the facilities that we built the initial sheet of ice for, they're adding second sheets. And it seems like some of the larger communities are all starting to add second sheets of ice and finding that benefit in their programming. 2
more questions for you here as we're rolling through the period break. To me, I would call it 3/4 outdoor rink. It's like a 3/4 indoor rink. The covered rink kind of was a trend for a little bit there. And you guys were able to really get something quite creative and look and feel for the St. Louis Park Rec Center. Can you talk about the processing that went into that and what you guys were thinking as far as vibe you were trying to pull off there? So that was kind of I guess what I would call a centerpiece or a focal point of that facility. Something that captures kind of the old school hockey feel with the wood purlins and some of the older arenas, but yet something that's kind of nostalgic in the new outdoor games that you see in the NHL and college hockey as well. So trying to capture that all into one piece. It's incredibly well done, and what it lends to is some really incredible acoustics, too. So when you watch a game, you get some really good sounds out of that. It's super cool. But the first thing, it's funny you say that I thought of, when I look at that roof in that building, I think of the old Minnetonka Ice Arena where they painted it up. It's too bad. But do you remember that when it was all wood?
I do. I played in that as a peewee. Growing up in a hockey tournament, and that's the first thing that I thought of when I saw that completed as well.
So it wasn't just me.
No.
Yeah, that's really good. And finally, as Vice President of Community, obviously the Herb Brooks Foundation is a terrific vehicle that everybody is well aware of. That's really keeping the game flowing, alive, and creating opportunities for everybody to be able to play the game. Can you talk about your relationship with Herb Brooks Foundation?
We are very proud to be a part of the Herb Brooks Foundation. Have been for all the time that I've been here at RJM, and definitely proud to be a part of that.
Brad, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Pete.
We'll be back with more right after this. We're between
High
periods
school.
on our Minnesota high school hockey coverage, and are pleased to be joined by Tradition Capital Bank's Scott Boyning. Scott's the market president for Tradition Capital Bank, and Scott, you got quite the thing going on here. Can you kind of give us an overview on Tradition Capital Bank? What is it? How many employees, future offices, or what you have for offices and future growth?
Sure. Thanks, Pete. Thanks for the opportunity. Tradition Capital Bank was a de novo bank in July of 2005. Today, 13 years later, we're about $700 million in assets, so a nice-sized bank. Main locations in Edina, Minnesota. We have a full-service bank in North Oaks, and possibly going to the West Metro in 2019.
Oh, really? Can you give us any nibbles of what you're thinking? Or
just growing the franchise. We've got a lot of clients and referral partners out in that area, so that we will be able to service the entire Twin Cities metro.
Boy, that's fantastic. So you'll have all angles covered there. From your bank, I personally bank with you.
Thank you.
And I love it. It's very efficient, very impressive. The staff is great, and all of the services are fantastic for me from a business perspective. Can you tell us a little bit about what makes your bank unique?
Yeah, we really focus on the relationship banking model, which is really getting to know our clients. So we're more positioned as a private bank, which means a lot of different things to different people, but really what we're focused on is larger relationships, less customers, more service. Kind of the old school way of doing banking. We sit down, meet with an individual, talk about themselves and their business and how we can help them. If it's over a cup of coffee or if it's at the bank or at their business, it's the face-to-face handshake type relationships we have. That I think in this day and age in banking kind of sets you apart with some of the big guys.
The big out-of-the-box chain type banks we've seen. But the other thing is how much has that, do you think, contributed to your future growth out to the West, and also your $750 million in assets, that type of strategy? How much has that played into it?
It's a very important part of our strategy. We're 99% referral based, so great clients like you telling other people that's the best way for us to grow. We've been organic growth from day one, hiring good people and taking care of our clients, and that's how we continue to kind of see our growth going forward.
Now, we know the economy has been soaring and the stock markets have been incredible, and it's been, for a lot of people, a good year. How has the year been for Tradition Capital Bank?
It's been another strong year. We've had about organically about $100 million of growth year over year for the last 4 years, and a lot of that is attributed to the overall economy in the Twin Cities and Minnesota market and the real estate market. Obviously, lately rates have gone up a little bit, but we still feel there's a lot of strong growth in the new housing, new construction area going into next year. But we also, we're getting larger as a bank, we're getting more diversified. So seeing businesses grow, need for capital, and with rates going up, we're also paying a little bit more in deposit rates, which correspondingly kind of can help or hurt your margin depending on how you're doing.
In terms of, we kind of touched on a little bit about word of mouth and your relationships and those kinds of things, but what is one of the things that you do to, beyond that, to compete with the larger big name banks that you see the signs everywhere?
Yeah, for us, it's try to make banking simple and quick turnaround. We're locally owned and operated, so we make decisions here locally really quickly. term sheets usually within 24 hours for a loan. Deposit accounts we can set up very efficiently, very fast. Technology is a game changer. I think that's the great equalizer in banking going forward. So we continue to invest in technology to help make it easier for our clients and their businesses to do business with us.
Now, we do know that technology is part of everything, and there are some tools out there that people employ in every aspect of business. What have you done on the banking side of things to utilize that?
I said Vetus.
Oh,
No, we're good. We're
Okay.
good. I mean, that was a full-fledged.
I got my headset on here.
What?
I got my headset. I can't read lips.
I can't hear you.
Right, exactly. So you get my point.
ears are ringing. How about this? Cole Hansen starts with 2 Genos. His 13th and 14th of the year, and a couple of apples go to Bryce Brodzinski, his 50th and 51st.
Yeah. And they were, at least the second one was a really nice pass. The first one was kind of incidental.
We're all about full disclosure here at the MNHockey.tv, and our very own Matt Harrington, known as Matty Ice, came in here just smoking mad. Like, wow, was he mad. He was upset with the penalties.
Well, he's not the only one, actually, walking up and down press row a little bit. I think that was the main subject of the conversations. But, again, yesterday they let the kids play. Today they're calling it a little tighter to the vest. But as long as they're consistent in their calls, but there were a couple of pretty questionable ones that went to Eden Prairie's favor. And if Eden Prairie didn't score, it wouldn't have been a subject of conversation. But Eden Prairie had some success on the power play.
4 of 6.
4 of 6. Very impressive power play. They were 2 for 2 last time they played. Now they're 6 of 8 then. Pretty impressive number. But Blaine, stay out of the box. But I look for Blaine to come out with some serious energy, some serious focus up to Eden Prairie to show how good of a defensive team.
If you told Blaine to stay out of the box, Matty Harrington would say it's not their fault.
Well, it's not. But it's what's in front of them. They have to play on.
Here we go, folks. 17 minutes. If it's done in regulation, we'll determine which one of these teams are going to the state final. Ooh, good chance off the draw there. That's Rickles with the bid. Bengals now in period number 3, moving from right to left across your screen and dial. By the way, you can turn them down, turn us up, whether it's the TV or the stream. My good friend Andrew Nealand on board. Neely. I know Amy Rapp's chilling, feet up. Watching a little high school hockey on the big screen. Lovely Eden Prairie, Minnesota, watching her beloved Eagles. And Hornets coming up.
Well, there's still some stuff to look forward to, but we still have 16-19 to go in this contest. It was Jensen that gained the zone on a 3-on-2, went wide to the left, and instead of dishing it off to John Middlestead, he had to take that shot using the defenseman as a screen, but Daniger very predictably received that puck. Not a second chance, face off to his right. Oh, Matt's going to console himself with some cookies.
Matt Harrington loosens the tie. He is just steaming right now.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the smoke coming off his fingers writing this article. It's going to be worth everybody checking out at the MNHockey.tv website.
There's going to be cookie crumbs in the keyboard.
That cookie's absolutely being destroyed right now.
He's
it has
bad at
like
it.
No chance. Back up into the center ice area it goes.
Way to poke the bear, P. Wagner.
I love him.
He's on the ledge, and you just gave him a little push.
He was a basket case today watching Bradley stay alive in the playoffs in round 1, I believe it is. 1-2, so good for him. Good for his club.
Emotional roller coaster.
Oh, Hillman now a nice move through center. He walks to the top of the slot. That's deflected away by the Eagle defense. They look back over for Holt. And now up the right wing, it's John Middlestead with it. Oh, a little nifty move. Trying to invoke his best Casey. Of course, the Buffalo Sabres first-round pick, 8th overall in the National Hockey League entry draft 2017, the year of our Lord. Back in behind the net it goes, and icing the call.
Well, Casey Middlestead being used on the power play in Buffalo, but getting his feet wet into the NHL. And John Middlestead, as you said, showing some skills, tucked the puck inside and tried to dangle around the defense, but Blaine very responsible on that one, forced him to the outside and really limited that forward opportunity. But Blaine takes an icing, 15:08 left in regulation time, 4-2 is the score. Eden Prairie up, 30-14 shots on goal. Eden Prairie has that advantage as well.
Back in behind the net it goes. Streeter's going to guide it away from Wilhite. Down the wall comes Algren. They're going to outlet to the left wing side. Gathering it in there is Schoberg. He'll play this in. A big carom up to the right wing side. Nice, perfect dump in there as it's going to be held on to by Rosenlund. Not sure if that would have been on the mark or wide, but wise of him to hang on to that and stop the play.
Well, as you said, it was a very aggressive dump by Schoberg, I believe, and it was Algren that actually corralled that one up and put a shot from a shallow angle. It may have gone wide, but if Roseland's going to get a chance to hold the puck, he's going to.
Buzzes wide of the mark there. They're going to send this one back up in the air. Glove down now. It's going to be Will Height. High slot area. Will Height shoots. That one wide of the mark. Manager watches that one go off to the right side from the left point. Pager stick handles and plays to the corner. It's going to be Streeter that comes away with it. Pinching down, it's going to be Jensen. Jensen gets away from one man, stays on the puck without a stick. He's being grabbed on there, plays that one off. Schultz, bomb off the post!
Oh, that was a
rang
bullet.
the dinner bell that's officially served here at the XL Energy Center on this lovely Friday night. John Middlestad with it.
He walked into that one. Wow.
You know, Clayton Schultz is, you know, we've seen him all year doing their games. Where does that come from? We had 2 nights in a row.
He got his
Just
first one
absolute
yesterday.
Lasers. Back up into the center ice area it goes. Gathered in by Streeter. Now it's going to be the Bengals regrouping in their own zone. Turnover. Oh, a shot and a save. Pad save made. Daniger was silky smooth, cat-like there, throwing the left pillow out.
He
making
needed to
the
be.
save. Now it's going to be Argetsinger with it. Gets that pass away from the stick of Brodzinski. Now it's across the line, loaded up, shot that misses the mark. Nothing but glass there. Looks like me shooting hoops, a brick. Now it's going to be played right back up the middle.
It wasn't that bad.
Laying bricks. Argetsinger off the boards for Batchelder. Finds his man Rudrud across the line. Rudrud loads it up, sends that one wide of the mark. Here comes Garrett Smith from the left point in front. Save, rebound. Oh, over the top of the goal. That was Holt with a golden opportunity. Now it's the end boards to the left wing. Guiding that one on the stick is Rickles. Looks back up through the center ice area, feeds it to the right wing side. It's going to be Brodzinski. That one was behind Rickles, but there comes Hansen to play it back in behind the net. 12:45 to go in the period. Eagles outlet to the left wing side. Smith gains the checker, gets shivered by Schaefer, but stays alive. Nearly got cut in half by the boards. Impaled. Now it's going to be handled by the Eagles. Jensen gets away from, ooh, how's she going there? Nifty little move to get away from his man, Busick. Now it's going to be left wing side. John Middlestad with speed back in behind the net. There's some traffic around the net. Jones creating some trouble. Wow. The Eagles, after a quick surge by the Blaine Bengals, bounce right back, Bart.
Well, it was Jensen out of his zone, just kicked it up to Johnny Middlestad. He went up on the left side, went around the dot, and tried to get it back up. But Carson Jones beelining it to the net to try to give him an option, led into the net off the mooring, so hence the whistle.
This is Annie Schlepper-Span of the U.S. Women's Olympic Hockey Team and a 2008 graduate of St. Cloud Cathedral High School. You are listening to the Minnesota State High School League State Tournament. We are the league.
Minnesota State High School League, been great to work with each and every year. It's the best governing body that I know of in the country. I've dealt with a few along the way, and their organization and their ability to deliver quality events. And you know, it's not easy to be in charge because everybody's smarter and you're not, you don't know what you're doing. But they certainly do. But that's what you hear when you're in charge, right, Todd Mulliken?
He's the right guy to ask.
He's got his game face on. He's the Optimal Hornet super fan. Ready to roll, right? Worried about the cadets? Worried about everybody.
If you aren't worried about the cadets and you're a Hornets fan, you're looking through rose-colored glasses. They're going to have their hands full tonight.
Well, you never know. I mean, some people. I'm not saying in this room.
Right. Faced off outside the Blaine zone. 12:23 in the third period left.
Honestly, between us and the listeners here, I do not want to be here. If it turns out to be an all-A conference final with Matt Harrington 20 feet within me, I think I'm going to leave. I'll fear for my life.
You're just going to put him in his own booth. And put pads on the walls.
Just.
But Eden Prairie won that faceoff, got it in the Blaine zone. They chipped it up into their own bench, so the faceoff's going to come all the way down to Daniger's right. 12:16 left in regulation time. Eden Prairie holding on to a 2-goal advantage. I like the way that Blaine has come out in this period. They have better focus. They seem to have a better grasp of getting back to Blaine Bengals hockey. They just got to put a marker on the board.
Jones with a win. The big shot off the end boards by the Eagles. Puck will be played back up high to the left wing side as it's going to be Hillman to make a play there. That gets away from Will Height. It's played off the boards. It's gathered in by Streeter for the Bengals. Off the boards he goes. Hillman, nifty little pass on the to the oncoming Ryman, who's going to play this back in behind the net. Cam Langfell's nifty move to get away from his man. Over comes Will Height to the left wing off the boards. Ryman plays that one, picked off by the defense. Now it's going to be handled at the line, dribbles back into the neutral zone, and then off the boards. Ryman gets a stick on that one to poke it into the corner. Here comes Busick, comes together with Cam Langfells. He'll get it back to Langfells off his stick to center. Streeter will play with 11:29 to go. His club trails by 2 at 4-2. Eagles ahead they go. To the right wing side, it's going to be Holt with it. Holt will load it up. Blocker pad save, rebound. A bomb that misses the mark. That was Jensen. Had the big eyes there. Now it's going to be played back across center. They have a trailer. Rickles, Hansen, shot, save, rebound. Puck rattles around the goal mouth area. Played to safety. Jensen wanted to play that one off the boards away from the defense. All he needed to do, hindsight 2020 from up top, is just gather the puck in and roll.
Well, Eden Prairie got a little guilty of getting too deep. They had 3 guys below the end line in the Blaine Bengals zone, and then it was the Blaine Bengals that came out with numbers. I think it was 4-on-2 at one point. They pushed it to the left side. He was pretty much wide open, but Roseland did a nice job of keeping that puck out of the net. It wasn't pretty necessarily. He fought that puck a little bit, but kept it out of the net. But Eden Prairie's doing such a good job now of supporting the play and supporting the puck.
Wow, that's a tough save.
Absolutely, but there's plenty of Eden Prairie bodies around supporting their goaltender, and I think that's very important.
So that puck ramped up off a stick, and he got the blocker pad out in front of it and just kind of shivered it away. Turned over at the line. The Bengals, though, will gather it in out of the zone with Brzezinski. Brzezinski back into the corner. He's washed behind the net by Schultz. Takes the body on him. And it's going to be Jones with it calmly to the right wing side for Rudrud. Rudrud, Jones, loads it up, shot, doesn't get through. Now it's going to be Schaefer with it back up ice. He's got a man. It's Rickles on the right wing side. Too much distance. Ooh, just missed the mark on Rosenlund there. Brodzinski slaps that one toward the net area, and they're going to play this up high. That gets away from Jones, and now it's going to be handled by Hauk. Left wing on the pass. He goes for Schoberg. He's going to leave that off. Here come the Eagles back in across the line. John Middlestad, a house of fire. Oh, that one off the stick. Nice save made again by the goaltender, Joe Danager. Now it's going to be John Middlestad again. The guy is absolutely incredible. A chance by Will Height. Puck's loose. They want to just force it through. Can't. They still battle. Puck was loose. Now the whistle blows. 9:56 to go. 4-2. Eden Prairie.
Well, kind of a trying moment for this Blaine Bengal squad. It was Eden Prairie that was funneling to the net, and it was Middlestad that took the initial shot. It was Danager that made the save, but then it got a little owly. Danager's a little bit slow to get up. It looks like he's okay, but he took some abuse on that one. They waited a while to blow that whistle. For what reason, I'm not quite sure. But Danager looks no worse for the wear, but he kept his team within 2 with just that sequence. But Eden Prairie doing a really good job of finding space, getting that puck to the net, and then getting the support down low. So Blaine Bengals are skating backwards. If you can get this Bengals squad skating backwards as opposed to forwards, you're doing something right.
Fans, don't forget about the Sportsman's Guide in South St. Paul. Up to 60% off all merchandise at the Beyond the Pond event tomorrow, March 10th at 10 a.m. That'll run from 10 a.m. till noon. 60% off merchandise if you want to go back to the warehouse. They've got the online store. They can pull and pick from a 400,000 square foot warehouse. You don't have to pay shipping. You don't have to shop online. Head right to the store in South St. Paul. That's off Concord and 494 on would be the northeast side, just up off of right by the bank there. You can't miss it.
It's got to be about the same size as Molly's house.
Also presented by RJM Construction. They're for all of your arena needs and building needs and remodeling. Check out their work of the Tria Rink. They built that on top of a parking ramp. Incredible stuff. The Hopkins Pavilion and the Rock. What a great outdoor facility that is. Also presented by Brew Pub and Lots of Matza Pizza. Half pound of award-winning Wisconsin cheese buried on each one of those pizzas with a nice thin crust. Bake it up. Mully does. I know that. And then Tradition Companies. You need a mortgage, you need a house. Go ahead and check out Homes by Tradition or Robert Thomas Homes, or how about a wealth management firm? There's best in the business. Schumacher, of course, affiliated. We're talking about Chad Schumacher with the Lakeville South Cougars. You have the wealth management division he's worth in the Capital Bank as well. That's traditionco.com. How can we forget about optimal goalie and our guy Larry Grace?
We can't do that. Faceoff was to Danager's right. Blaine win the faceoff, but Eagles fighting for possession.
Hauk is there as they play that one through center ice. Bumped off the boards. Luke Mittelstadt to Cam Langfels. Mittelstadt gets it back. Kept at the line. 36-15 are now your shots on goal. Now 36-16 in favor of the Eagles. That one's off a stick. They'll lay that one over to the left wing side. Pass was too high for Wilhite, wide of the mark.
Well, just a bit of a misfire. It went from the left defensive circle all the way up to the red line, but it just hopped his stick, went all the way down. So faceoff's going to come to Rosenlund's left. 9:12 left in regulation time. Rosenlund looks very comfortable right now. Pete, not comfortable in the sense that he knows the situation, but last night it seemed like he was fighting the puck. Tonight he looks very calm and collected and making the necessary saves when he has to, but I've been impressed with his rebound control and his positioning tonight.
4-2 your score here with 9:05 to go in the third period. Bengals looking to stop 4 unanswered by the Eagles. In on goal, right to the crest. The Eagle crest of the goaltender, Axel Rosenlund.
Well, I thought it was a pretty good shot. I think it was Ryman that took that shot. Just a wrist shot, didn't take the big slapper. It might have been Brzezinski that took it as well. But Rosenlund just outside the blue received that puck. Not a second chance opportunity. If he can keep doing that for the final 9:58, that bodes well for Lee Smith and the Eagles. But Blaine just got to get something positive. They got to get the puck to the net.
Shot was blocked. It's going to be Holt with it now as he's going to cruise up the right wing side. He's going to chip that one in on goal. Turned aside by Daniger. And back behind the net, cut off by Rudrud. You know, Rudrud and Jensen don't look fatigued here. They've been going every other shift. And they look no worse for wear, and their wingers have been so good here tonight. The defensemen, as you mentioned earlier, Bart, have really been keeping things off the end wall and getting them up the ice and blocking shots and really eliminating the high scoring chances. They've kept the Brzezinski line really in check.
At least so far, but they're doing all the things the way that they're supposed to do them, and that's why they have a 2-goal advantage. But this Blaine team has too many offensive weapons to not be cognizant of that. Again, 8:21, so time is going to become an issue for Chris Carroll and this Bengal team. They have an offensive zone face-off to Rosenlund's right, but now is a good time to kind of get some heat on the Eden Prairie Eagles and crash a net and make something happen.
Schultz is there now to ring it up the boards to the right wing side. Jensen started to go a little too soon, but retreated and won the battle. Played it back through center. Now it's on Hauk's stick from the left side, deflected back into Eagle territory. That by the winger Carson Rickles. Now it's going to be Smith with it. Gathers it in, looks to center, off Rickles' stick. And now it's going to be picked up by Jones at center. He's
hammered,
wedged into the wall, but gets it deep, gets the job done there. Ate it for the home club. Now it's going to be played back to the right wing side. Jones is there again. Wanted to throw it toward the goal mouth area. Instead, it works its way all the way around the wall to the left wing side. It's Hauk who plays that one ahead. Now Rickles is stopped there, and it's going to be handled and played through. Eagles are definitely not forcing things offensively. They're playing, but they're not. They're not running and gunning looking for goals. They're just 200 feet. And protecting the lead right now to a degree, but they're not being foolish about it either. Ooh, onside at the line. Rudrud a shot. Ooh, that's partially. Daniger made the save. Sent in by the Eagles. They're going to be forced to touch up with 7:10 to go here in the third period. Back in behind the net. Keegan Langfels is there as he rings the boards. They'll change on the fly. Wow, they have too many. I think the Eagles coaching staff were wondering where that one was, but you know what? We play on. Off Wilhite, now on the stick of Brzezinski, who plays that ahead. Now it's going to be Rudrud with it. Looks for Wilhite, right wing side. Luke Mittelstadt absorbs a check there. I'm telling you, that kid's going to be, in my opinion, a future potential first rounder. He's on the short list of Mr. Hockey for me out of the sophomore class when he becomes a senior.
Well,
down.
I think Rickles might be on that list as well.
Oh, Rickles is a junior.
Well, I mean for next year.
Oh, okay. I'm talking for sophomore
NHL.
year. Yeah. No, I'm talking for Mittelstadt, who's a sophomore.
I gotcha.
2 years.
I caught up with you.
Batchelder there. Now it's picked up by the Blaine Bengals. Gets away from the glove of Langfels. Nice job by Rosenlund to find his man on the move. Now it's Holt, and said he's going to leave it off. It's going to be sent right back in by the high-flying Carter Batchelder. And now Hauk is going to be stopped on the play on a check thrown there by Batchelder, but the Bengals will play it to the right wing. This is up and down hockey here. 5:50 to go in the third. Nice job on the stick there. Argensinger. Whoa, has he been good? Cross center ice, he'll hang on to this one and send that one back in behind the net. Garrett Smith cuts it off. Now he's going to play this one down the left wing side. Nope, back out of the zone it goes. Holt's quick, so he got off the ice. That could have been too many for the Eagles. Nice job there. Smith will get it. Sends that one right back in. Wow, protecting the lead here, playing it deep, cutting off the breakout. Rudrud. Jacques Lemaire would be absolutely thrilled. Back off the boards. Remember those days?
Oh, absolutely.
So the
Him and
glory
Mario
years of the
Tremblay.
Minnesota Wild. Hansen now to the left wing side for Hillman. Hillman across the line. Now Brodzinski loads it up. There's a stick. And the biggest check of the game was Smith getting lit up by his own guy, Carson Jones, right after that Brodzinski shot.
Well, one thing about Smith is he's used to the physical contact, just not from his teammates. But it was a pretty good look by Brodzinski, but a nice busy stick. And I don't know if it was Carson Jones or Garrett Smith, but whenever he gets the puck, obviously he's a focused player. Just ramped it up and out of play, so avoided another potential scoring opportunity. But Eden Prairie's doing a good job of really supporting the puck and pushing the puck and making Blaine come the whole length of the ice. And their positioning and spacing is solid, so Eden Prairie really firing on all cylinders and really frustrating this Blaine Bengal squad, who things are usually come a little bit easier for them, but they have 5 minutes and 4 seconds to make something happen, but they better get on their horse and make it happen quick.
You know, when you look at the score sheet, you see Hansen, Brodzinski, Hauk, Hansen, Brodzinski, Rickles. And then you go Keegan Langfells, John Mittelstadt, Luke Mittelstadt, but Garrett Smith, Carson Jones, Spencer Rudrud. You know, you're getting the depth of the Eagles, is especially the defensemen that are engaged in the scoring that are stepping up here in this hockey game here today. That's made a big difference.
Well, and that's what we've kind of echoed previously when we did our podcast. I just said that this Blaine Bengals team is outstanding defensively. Obviously, giving up 40 goals in 27, 28 games is a very impressive number, but they don't get the offensive push like this Eden Prairie Eagles squad has had. I mean, Keegan Langfels is not really the primary driver. It's usually Luke Mittelstadt, but all of a sudden you get Pager in the mix. You get Argetsinger that's bringing the puck up with confidence. So Eden Prairie's defense is really shining tonight.
Here we go. Face off to the right of Rosenlund. 5:03 to go. That's the last TV timeout, so we take it home here, even if it does go to overtime. Back up to the line it goes. Ooh, I said the deadly word there. Brodzinski's shot saved by Rosenlund. That was turned aside by Rickles. Rickles to the corner. In to help him out is Hansen. Hansen and Rickles are there. Up high to the line it goes. They're going to play it over to Brodzinski from the top of the right circle. Off Keegan Langfels. Rosenlund slides over and makes a big save there. 4:34 to go, still 4-2. Keegan Langfels, that's chopped down by a stick. Oh, they're going to say icing on the play, Bart Archer.
Boy, I thought he caught that trying to keep it in the zone, and that would have been Schaffer on that one. But again, this is what Blaine needs to do, get the puck down low and win some individual battles. And now it's Eden Prairie turning to the icing game, and that's okay. I mean, as long as they can win the face-offs. But a nice side-to-side by Rosenlund really limited what could have been a good opportunity. But another deflection off an Eden Prairie defender's skate, but Rosenlund made 2 saves on that to keep this score where it is.
Schultz plays the center, foot race for the loose puck. Batchelder gets their first shallow angle, misses the mark, all the way through it goes. And back up the center ice it goes. Hillman with it, stopped with the stick there. Good defensive play turned in by Clayton Schultz. Cross the line, check that, Jensen wants to make the play. Instead he loses the handle, it's checked off the puck and out of the corner they go with it. Now it's going to be Ryman. Left wing too far for Hillman. Schultz again with it. He's become really Mr. Steady here in the playoffs and the sections of the state tournament. Eagles are playing very similar in this game the way they did against the Chaska Hawks.
Yeah, in fact, I thought that was
same way.
Second period was their best period of the year, and this is seems to be, as you said, a continuation of that, Pete. Been very impressive so far.
Back up to the line it goes. Now it's going to be handled by Hauk. His shot misses the mark. 3:33 to go here in the third. Back in behind and around they go with it. Up to the line. Hauk plays over to the right wing side for Streeter. Snapper misses the mark off the boards, and now they pick it up with speed. It's going to be Holt across the line. Eagles will change. He misses the mark high, but it's almost like a purposeful dump in as Smith will come there and throw that one down. And now they'll look back up to the left wing side. Around and behind the net it goes. Cam Langfels, now it's Smith. Rudrud takes it over on the move. Here's Spencer Rudrud across the line. Off the glass it goes. And now it's going to be Rudroot again. Nice job to protect the puck in front. Oh, that rolls a stick of Jones in the slot. He had a great chance there. 2:43 to go in the period. Nice move. Scores!
Oh, snipe.
Oh, Rickles shows what he's made of there as he holds the puck and freezes the goaltender. Got him to move just a little bit. Short side, 4-3.
And Pete, that's goal 41 for Rickles. But Carson Rickles picked his team up when they needed it the most. There's still plenty of time, 2:39 left in regulation time. It doesn't take, it's not the numbers, it's the quality of shots, and he just beat him short side just under the blocker. But just kicked up. He gained the rebound just on top of the right circle, did a little delay move on Argetsinger and let that puck go, but it eluded Axel Rosenlund. So now it's 4-3, whole new complexion. Now it's Blaine that has the energy. Eden Prairie just got to keep doing what they're doing, get the pucks down low. They're still up by a goal, but now it's Blaine that has the energy, and they still have plenty of time to tie this game up.
Boy, did Rickles do quite the job on Argetsinger. I mean, that was a snipe.
Little drag, and the momentum took Argetsinger out of the play.
I was talking to Pat Micheletti about him. He said he was talking to a college coach that would go unnamed. He goes, "What do you think of this Rickles kid?" And the coach goes, "Well."
Oh, my word.
I'm like, really?
Oh, my word. Can you say all tournament team?
Left wing side it goes across the line. Wilhite mishandles there and turns it over. Eagles try to send that one in deep. We'll see the push here from the Bengals. 2:20 to go in the third. Now Cam Langfels, or Keegan rather, plays that one up to John Middlestad. Enough juice on that. Up the line it goes. Jensen wins the battle. He'll carry it to the left circle, to the backhand. Oh, he nearly pulled the trigger. He had the goalie prone, but a nice stick there by the defense. Played back up into the center ice area. Keegan Langfels rips that one back in and behind. The Eagles will change wholesale. 1:57 to go in the period. Now back across the line. It's Hillman. Argetsinger tries to get an angle on him. Hillman fights it off the pad. Nice save made there by Rosenlund. Right side, Streeter. Back to the corner. Up to the line. Off the toe of the stick of Brodzinski. Daninger still in net. 1:40 to go in the period. In front of the net bench area goes. Streeter takes a poke at that one. That one's off Hansen's stick. Now it's going to be Rudroot to gather in quickly to Holt. Back up the right wing side across the checkered. He's going to play that one in behind the net. Now it's going to be Hauk with it. Bumps off the boards. 1:24 to go. Off the stick of Rickles. Back with it on the puck. It's going to be the Eagles. Argetsinger wanted to get it deep but lost the handle. Gets checked on the boards. The Eagles finally do get it deep. 1:13 to go. Now Hauk with it. He looks up ice, plays this to the left wing. Rickles can't handle, and it's sent right back in by the Eagles. Argetsinger. Back behind now, Streeter, right corner. Up high it goes. Hansen stopped by Wilhite. Plays that in up high. Wrist shot by John Middlestad. Couldn't get it off. Now it's going to be picked up by Middlestad. Stick was slashed out of his hands. No problem there. Kicked right back in behind with 50 to go. Back behind the Blaine Bengals now controlled to the left wing side. Rickles, his pass hits Jensen. Now Streeter takes a swing at that one. Fans sent right back in. The Bengals can't get out through the neutral zone. The Eagles are absolutely flowing and shutting it down. They do again. Jensen on the move. Jack Jensen across the line. Save Daninger to the corner. 30 seconds to go. They're not allowing the Bengals possession. Now Brodzinski, Mr. Hockey potential. Across the line. Batchelder a play. And Daninger to the bench. Jensen fights it off. Streeter fights him off. 17 to go. They have room. Hillman can dangle across the line. Long shot. Blocker pad save Rosenlund. Back behind. 9 to go in the period. Right corner, Bengals scramble. They pack it in along the wall. 3-2. They're going to try and fight it through. They can't get there. Oh, and the Eagles hold on and win. What a finish for Eden Prairie.
What a game by Eden Prairie. Not just a finish, but they did all the things right. Your heart has to go out for this Blaine Bengals squad. Obviously, the third loss is the toughest one, but they certainly were formidable in this, but Eden Prairie just played one of their best complete games of the year. Came out of the gate a little bit slow, but they started to ramp it up. That second period was all Eden Prairie, and they never gave it back. But Blaine showed some character to cut the lead to 1, but Eden Prairie just tightened up the ice and cut the ice in half and didn't let Blaine have any semblance of opportunities. Big win by Lee Smith and the Eden Prairie Eagles. They're moving on to tomorrow night.
Yeah, they certainly did, and I got to tell you right now, that was an impressive hockey game from start to finish. The Eagles outshoot them 38-23. A bad bounce goal gives it the 1-0 lead. Then they come back and score. But the power play, 4 power play goals goes to work. 4 for 6 with the man advantage. But more importantly, Eden Prairie finished like you finish. They didn't pout. They didn't step back and go, oh, no, what are we going to do? Instead, they kept coming forward and took away the center red.
They didn't change their game. What was working for them in the third period and the second period, they continued to do that. But Eden Prairie, a lot of teams, if you give up a goal, a kind of a fluky goal, and then you give up another one, a lot of teams kind of hunker back a little bit and kind of get defensive. Eden Prairie actually ramped up their game. Obviously, the scuttlebutt's going to be about the power plays and all that, but, this is the situation that's in front of them. You have to answer the bell. Blaine is such a good squad, but Eden Prairie just suffocated.
We're going to cover this on the podcast, but we've heard a lot about how Eden Prairie got the lucky draw, and they got this, and they got that.
Okay.
The Blaine Bengals are the legit real deal. They were top 3 right at the end of the year. You saw it. We all saw it. They've got tons of talent. They've got goaltending. They got everything they need. They beat a Lakeville South team with a goaltender that nearly set a state record for saves. They belong in the state championship. They belong to be in the discussion. And as the MNHockey.tv, I'm very proud and honored to say that we are the voice of the Eden Prairie Eagles.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully we'll continue to be for years to come. And then we also will have the Edina Hornets coming up, another team that we're the voice of, coming up next.
Well,
so what more could we want?
Well, it's going to be a great contest, too, between St. Thomas Academy and the Edina Hornets.
Folks, that's going to do it. Your final score is Eden Prairie Eagles 4, the Blaine Bengals 3. The Eagles have punched their ticket to the state final. For Bart Archer, Todd Mulliken, Matt Harrington, I'm Pete Wagner. John Sands back in the production studio back at home, scoring the game live at the MNHockey.tv. I'm Pete Wagner. Good night, everybody. We'll be back. Don't forget the Edina game coming up next.